All right. Big game tonight, Adam Luckett.
We're live. Welcome to a special edition of 11 Personnel. Stephen Peak, Adam Luckett here right now. Nick Roush will be on any minute now, but we just wanted to get going, so we're locked in for this game watch along. That this is kind of Peak's brainchild. He kind of pitched this idea to us. We're gonna try it out for our first football game and just kind of walk through the national championship game and what's at stake, and then we'll also open up the chat and just ask questions. The thing that's good about a football game, not necessarily basketball, Peak, is that there's more little dead time.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about plays, what's happening, what we see on the broadcast, and maybe some stuff that goes viral tonight, hopefully, that we'll get to talk about live. And then also we'll open up. You can do any AMA, football, anything. We talk about Kentucky, as Jerome Bettis. The bus is in the house, walking Notre Dame out to the coin toss here.
What I'm excited for everyone else to see what watching a game with you and Nick is like, because it's so fun to have you guys there in real time to ask questions and try to
it's good. That and good thing about we've got some bets going on in this game, so also we'll get to watch the real time sweating it out, and so see how that goes. But
who'd you take again?
I didn't take a side here. I've got a couple player props. We'll talk about this if this game starts. Penn State ran for over 200 yards against this Notre Dame defense. The one big weakness on both of these sides is Notre Dame's run defense, in my opinion. So I think these Ohio State backs could both have big games. So I took them both over their rushing total, and then I like Notre Dame team total under as well, under 17.5. But I've been playing that a lot, and that hasn't been cashing. So that might be a bad bet. But again, I just think Notre Dame's offense is definitely the weakest unit of the four in this football game. And sooner or later, I think that's going to catch up to them. And this feels like the game that finally catches up to them.
It was funny. I was asking you guys earlier this year, will we ever see, or how long until we see a team who wins 4 games to win it all? Well, here we are. It's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, I think, if you were going to make my hot take list after the first playoff, lessons learned, one of them would be that is the bye really, does that help you at all? Sometimes we see it in NFL playoffs where the rust is a thing. Like I think Commanders Lions might have felt like kind of a thing in that game. And I think that there's an argument for that, but also some of the teams playing in the second game weren't like Penn State was the better team. Boise got a bye. Arizona State got a bye. Texas was the better team, even though you could argue Arizona State should have won that game. And then Georgia was weird because of the Carson Beck injury. And so it was kind of a unique in how it all played out. And then Ohio State, a lot of people felt like they were better than Oregon, even though Oregon was number 1 and beat them head to head earlier in the year. And there he is, beanie and all, Nick Roush. Welcome to the show, bud.
How we doing, everybody?
We're hanging in there.
Nice. I don't know if my brain's gonna work, but I'm excited to hang out. Does that sound good? Do I look good?
Yeah.
Good. All right. This is
they do say look good, feel good. So you're half the way.
Halfway there. And Notre Dame's gonna receive the ball. That feels like a bold choice, I guess. Try to get that lead early, Luckett, because that's really their only way they're winning this game, right?
So they won the ball or won the toss, took it.
They're receiving, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's very interesting, Nick. Actually, I'm kind of shocked by that because they have swung all these games in the middle 8, and part of the advantage is the middle 8, and it's the double dip positions or double dip possession. So definitely surprise that is the move. You got to think some trickery is coming, whether an onside kick at some point, something along those lines. It feels like highly possible in this game if they're trying to take the ball here. Because to me, what that tells me, and when my antennas are up, it's like he's trying to steal possession later. So how does he try to steal it? Fake punt, something along those lines. So that's something I would keep an eye on for here as this game progresses.
Who you got? You got any action on this?
It's just telling Peak didn't take a side. I played Judkins and Trayvon Henderson over rushing yards.
Okay.
I think the big weakness is Notre Dame's run defense. Their pass defense is stellar. They're probably going to take away Jeremiah Smith in that and all that, but Chip Kelly wants to run the ball anyway. I think you see them come out commitment to the run game, and I think especially if this plays out like a slugfest, like many people think, in that under, I think both those guys are going to get touches in this football game.
I don't know how well Notre Dame is going to be able to run the ball, and I feel like they have to do that to have a shot. So my Ohio State future is locked in. No hedging. Hedging's for losers. Just not a hedge guy. I don't think I've ever hedged a bet ever, and even if I did, it was by mistake.
Yeah, I've never had it where the only time it's ever been like that, I was in Vegas, and I was up a lot, and I had a lot riding on this game. It was like, and I already placed these bets, and I got this extra cash fund. And it was like, should I even do this? And I ended up not doing it, luckily. But yeah, I've never been in a position where it's like, oh man, is Al Golden going to the Bengals? I hope so, Walker. And my antenna is also going to be up for that reason. So you're going to hear me talk about Al Golden tonight, and then if you're in my house or around me during the Bengals game, you're also going to hear me talk about him a ton.
I know you're in your usual setup, Luckett. I chose to watch the big TV. So we've got a little bit.
Nice.
We got the living room set up with the
inside
big
zone
TV.
first play gets stuffed.
Oh gosh, you're ahead of me too. That's all
Okay.
right.
I'll pause. Where are you at?
I mean, it just like 2 seconds ahead.
All right. I think we'll be good now.
Yeah. Because I saw
JT.
stuff
Yeah. The thing with Ohio State here is like there's draft picks coming out the seams everywhere on this football team. So JT Tuimoloau will probably be second, third round pick guy that just made that tackle. And Big Jack Sawyer, who they're showing a ton of.
It's weird seeing Jack Sawyer wearing 33. It's just objectively a little odd to see.
I feel like it's an off-ball linebacker number.
Yeah, not an edge. Didn't they have a quarterback wearing 33 or 99?
Yes, he's transferring.
What? But he was wearing that number though. Was it 33?
Yeah, 33.
It's such a weird number for a quarterback. Is Gerald Lorenzen the highest number quarterback we've had at Kentucky?
Off the top of my head, yes.
Chat, if you can think of one. 22. Is there anyone higher than that? Because I can't think of one. And hell, how many times do you see a quarterback higher than 22 period? Ever. And it's that
you have some random ones. Yeah, but that's definitely the highest number I've seen for a main position quarterback.
That was just your 3 yards in a cloud of dust first down to start that possession. Get a little zone read with Raleigh and Leonard to keep the drive alive. It
was also get behind the chains. Oh crap. We got to – all right, QB run. I think that's going to be when in doubt, just do that.
I mean, how many –
they had him on the dig, missed him.
Are we going to get – low. Are we going to get over or under we'll call non-sacks out of it too. 15 rushing attempts for Raleigh Leonard?
Without sacks or with sacks in there?
Without sacks.
That feels like the number.
15.
Yeah.
But it'll
a lot of it
through 20 with all the TFLs and stuff.
A lot of it feels on the game script too. You know, if Notre Dame's in there or ahead, then I think you're going to see a lot of it. But if not, if they get pass heavy, I don't think you'll see as much because a lot of it's not really scrambles with him. It's a lot of design Q run.
Have you do you know anybody at the game?
I do not.
There's a little slaying action. We've got some family friends. I don't even really know how they're like what the Notre Dame fandom, like where it originates. But the whole crew went down to Atlanta. They were down at the Sugar Bowl too. So got a little double dip for the Fighting Irish. My brother-in-law, big Notre Dame fan. He did not make it there. He said he was going to go if they played Bama at home, but that did not happen. But the wife, she's a Buckeyes fan. So my kids, they had their Buckeye shirts on. We put them to bed. They're it's not the worst second team because, especially personally, like it's just like, oh, here's a good football team. You have like 3 games a year you got to actually care to watch because they just blow everybody else out.
Different life.
Yeah.
Arvell Reese was just in the picture, Nick. Oh, Kentucky target of pass. I think he's right there in the middle at Mike, linebacker on this play.
Do you know Emil Wagner was starting for them for Notre Dame?
Yeah, right tackle. He's had a good year.
So yeah, they could really use that guy right about now. He was having to guard that one dude from Penn State last week, which just good luck.
Well, both of them. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what's the
Danny
11th? Abdul?
Levin's Abdul Carter. He might be it's number one pick. Who's it? Pats got the number one pick? No, Titans do. If the Pats did, he might have gone number one overall. So the Titans going QB, but it'll be him or Travis Hunter, first non QB off the board with the draft.
It's gonna be pretty awesome to be getting recruited. All right, actually, we'll talk about that in a second. 3rd and 1, big play.
A little stretch run. No, not getting there.
I don't know why he tried cutting it back. There's like 3 guys in there just trying to.
Also, yeah, Jeremiah Love. I also wonder how healthy he is. Right,
I mean,
he's got that big old knee brace on.
We've said that about every one of these playoff games.
That's really just like a jet. That almost looked like a jet sweep. It was kind of how they would block a jet sweep.
I guess
just from the tailback.
Just couldn't get his head around that last guy.
Yeah, this is to me, this is no question. Go for it. Although this has dummy count written all over it, but they are in the gun. He's going quick. He got it.
Yeah, just Q run.
That's where they say the extra hat right there, right?
Yeah, right. Motion that extra dude in. So 2009 2A state championship, DeSales against Antonio Andrews, Fort Campbell Falcons. And the wrinkle we put in, we were not going to outspeed any of those guys. We were Notre Dame to their Ohio State. We were largely outnumbered. And that was basically our wrinkle, was this set that they just ran on 4th down. Let's just put everybody in the box and just try to run it down their damn throat. We put 3 linemen in the backfield and we're just overloading, unbalanced to one side and just running power. Just move them downhill. And it got us 10 points, and that was about it.
You know what I've seen a large volume of more of, and NFL is probably take it because they're obviously they're the best, but throwing back across their body, what Riley learned. I feel like I'm seeing that all the time now. You saw it with Lamar Jackson yesterday. Burrow did it all year. Scrambling to his right. I just feel like I'm seeing that a lot more. Yeah,
you're just they have more confidence that they can make those throws, and so that's one of the rules that I wouldn't say they just bench your ass, but that coaches would kill you on. The one that has really changed too in recent years: returning punts, putting your foot on the 10, because the punters and the return teams just got too good.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see the NFL. They'll catch it at the 7,
it doesn't
8
matter
all the time.
Yeah.
It's because that's better. We'd rather have it at the 7 than at the 1. It changes a ton.
Andrew wants to know, if we had a bet, would you ever bet Kentucky would make a football national championship in the next 50 years?
I would not.
Yeah.
Not to be a Debbie Downer, but
okay. But playoff.
Yeah.
Now,
we don't know what the sport will look like in 10.
Yeah.
But I do
12 team versus it'll probably get to 16,
Yeah, that's my theory. It's probably just gonna keep growing, so eventually it might just be big enough where, everybody is gonna eventually make it a few times.
It was a nice run by old 2-4.
Yeah, this is one of the half quarter drives here, Nick. We're going on 7 minutes off the clock.
Which that's how the Commanders won that game the other night. They went down 3, or the Lions cut it to pushing the pile. But when the Lions, we were watching that game, when they cut it, it was the 3 and out, and then they cut it to 3. You're just like, okay, this is where the Lions take over. Get one more stop, they'll get the lead, and they got this. For Jaden Daniels just going a 9-minute drive and then score a touchdown at the end of it. And I think that was after they had the 12 men on the field penalty too, which just come on, you're the 1 seed. What are you doing getting a 12 men on the field penalty on a 4th and 1 inside the 5? Come on.
Yeah, I was out and about for that game, so I didn't get to see a ton of it.
How was old Gillis?
He was great. Like, I wouldn't say it was. I mean, I've laughed harder, and I've like at comedy or
Yeah.
comedy shessels, but from beginning to end, just consistent laughs.
Did
Thought it was really good. Crowd was good. Packed house. Seats were good. We had a very good time.
Did he have a bunch of intro guys?
Just two.
Just two.
One of them was the Matt McClusker guy. I think the guy he does a podcast with.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
He was good.
Oh, you know what though? Not a bad run. I thought he was gonna have to just settle for throwing it away. I think quarterbacks have gotten really bad at throwing it away, and maybe I was just watching too many snow games where they were afraid to throw it away. But watching Sam Darnold eat sacks for weeks, maybe I was.
It's just that that's all that you just watched too much Russell Wilson this year, so you just haven't.
Well, the one time he needed to throw it away, he tried to scramble for a first down against the Bengals. The hell was that?
And it takes him like he can still run a little bit, but it takes like 4 more steps than it used to for him to get going.
Oh, pulls it.
He's short.
Oh man, it was the right decision to pull it there.
What is this? 6 carries for him on this drive?
Oh yeah, if he
7 carries for Larry Leonard on this drive.
If he doesn't slip, I think he gets the first down here. Because that was a great
Caleb
block.
Downs on the tackle.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like these shiny numbers in the font on the Notre Dame. Like it looks classic, but it's different.
It's weird because how we grew up, they never had names on the back of jersey, right? So I think for a lot of people, it's always weird to see the names.
They're gonna try to do numbers.
Got it.
It's definitely quarterback run. Yeah. I mean, what do they? How do you not see that coming?
Well, I think they had them spread out a little bit. Notre Dame's offensive line's getting movement at the point.
Looked like they had a little guard pull there too, to the left side. Oh,
he took a shot there, though, man.
Yep. They're going all in. Well, they did the false.
Looks like just a GH counter there.
Yeah. Well, they're going all in early to try to get a lead to be able to play with it because that's the only way they can have a chance is to.
Yeah, this will be play 18 of this drive over 10 minutes. Yep. Wow. Right at 10 minutes. Play 18 plays.
Well, I think
11 carries for Riley Leonard.
The over is going to hit on the Riley Leonard carries.
Yeah, and if you took that, like, Notre Dame team total under 17.5, not looking great right now. Now, you do like that, hey now, 10-minute drive, if we get one more of those, like, you're looking at an 8-possession game for each team. Mm-hmm. So, that, like, necessarily, if early score doesn't necessarily always help the under, but it helps dictate the pace of the game, and we might not have many possessions here.
Which, by the way, you didn't like my under. Guess what bet hit this weekend? The under.
Yeah.
I did what you taught me into the Lions team total over instead of just the over, and that was tough. That was tough. Just not having the gambling in Florida. Grow up, Florida.
You just gotta buy. You just gotta
get the hard rock.
Yeah. You just gotta get down there and just do it.
I did not go
because then once you set it up, it's just on your phone. Like for me, it's on my phone. Just transfer some money out of the old app, put it in that app for the week, and then whatever happens with it, then you move it back in the old app, the home app, whatever you prefer. But yeah, the tricky thing is the Kentucky. We've got player props now. I don't know how long they're gonna last.
Right.
That's something I always forget about when I go out
other
of state.
States.
Yeah.
Let's see if the old stat broadcast is.
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now. 18 plays, 75 yards, 9 minutes and 45 seconds off the game clock.
Well, and that was the kind of Michigan strip too, leaning on this Ohio State defense, getting there, keeping them on the field for a long time.
Yeah, they had them at 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3. So they forced third downs, but it was 3rd and short every time. So just staying ahead of the chains.
This is a good looking uniform game too.
Yeah, I think if you're going to rank helmets, these are in the top, I would say for sure. Notre Dame and Ohio State, especially just the classic look.
Oh yeah. I was really like when they talk about all of the things like let's bring back this, let's bring back that. The Ohio State little Buckeye helmet stickers do make me like Freddie didn't see a lot of wins back in the day when he was playing, but the cat paws and the power K, that's pretty cool. Does Clemson still do those? I'm trying to
The stickers on the helmets, I want to say yes. Florida State does them. They've got the tomahawks.
Those are awesome, yeah. And then the Georgia does the dog bones. But there aren't a whole lot of school. Like a lot of it's been dialed back.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you see the dog bones. You don't see it as much anymore. They used to. That was like a big '90s or early 2000 things. It feels like.
The AT&T lady, like her lips don't hit her teeth. At AT&T, we had that. And what? Who set the precedent of, hey, we get naming rights for a bowl game, so I'm going to do a 30-second ad where the CEO talks directly to the consumer. Weird, just weird bowl practice.
I guess it depends on who you're trying to sell to.
Do you see where you're going to have one of these in Tampa?
Yeah, they've had one in Tampa before.
Why? Who cares? Like, no. Just make it Atlanta or New Orleans or the Rose Bowl. That's it. That's it. Don't know.
You're not for Indy?
Get the hell out of here. It was awful last year.
Yeah, where Kentucky will make the national championship and they'll send us to Houston.
Maybe when Nashville gets the dome, you can do then, but no.
Oh, they're for sure getting one.
Yeah.
If Jacksonville, I was telling my father-in-law, if Jacksonville gets the stadium built decent time, I don't know if they'll get a Super Bowl again, but they can get in the mix for this playoff and probably a Final Four if they want to.
It's just no. Like just play it at the college football places. In the Super Bowl.
So you don't like the ones in Santa Clara?
No, oh God. Well, another thing too, like I'm the same way with Super Bowl. Just Miami, Vegas, Louisiana, Superdome. Like I feel like New Orleans should host a major sporting event every year, whether it's Final Four, college football playoff, or Super Bowl. They should get one every year.
Well, they are getting the Super Bowl this year.
Which, by the way, NFL, suck it. Like the logo, look at the last peak. Can you pull up the last the Super Bowl logo from the last?
I know what you're talking about. That comes around every Super Bowl time. They had a run there for like 20 years where they had the best logos.
The 90s were just.
And then the last 10 has just been terrible. Ever since the Roman numerals changed to when it gets out of the 30s, when it got out of the 30s is when it went off track. For the 20s and the 30s were elite. And then we got out of the 30s and went off track.
Know what the Roman numerals were too. If I ever write about it, I have to look up the Super Bowl. Like,
no, they could put anything, and I would assume it's correct. Like I have no idea.
That isn't the worst, right? Like, okay, this is
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Better than what you've been doing. But if you compare it to the one, I guess it would have been Packers. It was the one I think Favre.
Is that the one from last year? Because it's got the Vegas.
Oh, that might be last year's then.
Yeah, that's the Vegas sign.
Oh, is that supposed to be New Orleans?
Yeah, that's New Orleans because I think that's the whatever they call that thing, the Florida League.
Purple. Because the one I'm thinking of, I think it was Packers Broncos.
Yes, no, it's Packers Patriots. See if you can find that one, Peak. Packers Patriots. It's like 31, I think.
I saw
that was the Chief King logo.
I saw where it was either a boy T-Bob or it was one of the Kelsey brothers had a hat from that game, and I'm just like, that's an elite, that's an elite hat. Doesn't get much better than that. Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, Super Bowl 31.
Hard to see.
I even had the number right.
Look at that. Look at you.
That was like the first Super Bowl I really remember like actually watching. Like I remember Super Bowls, but that's the first one where I remember like watching the game. And I remembered Desmond Howard's kickoff return. And I remember Favre having a big game. And I remember the Patriots with the old jerseys.
Oh, yeah, with the giant logo on the sleeve. Yeah.
Like that's the first one I really remember watching.
See, and that's the kind of it for me, but I remember more details from the Broncos with LA
Yeah, and I remember
following year.
that's the first one where I remember remembering the build up to a Super Bowl. Like knowing oh, they're playing the Super Bowl this week, right?
Mhm,
Like this is a
yeah.
big game. John Elway versus the Packers, yeah.
Man, that's a pretty snug fit pullover for Marcus Freeman.
So I'm guessing we missed the touchback here, but starting first
No,
and
yeah,
10.
he almost kicked it out
25.
of bounds. We
Howard
didn't
under center, 12 personnel.
run the damn ball. Well,
Henderson
love
gets
the-
the already started.
This wasn't the case. We had one play in high school where I got to pull as the tight end. It was the Rex. It was a little wing T reverse. The proliferation of just using those guys, pulling them down the line, it just makes sense to use that instead of a big ass tackle. I don't know what took so long for that to become such a commonplace in the game.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to find guys that can move and block. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's definitely some versatility in it and how you can tilt the defense one way or the other.
Henderson made the right read there. He was just slow to the cutback. I think that was the right play. Just late to
Now,
stick.
if you were gonna write the Notre Dame upset script, it would be a start similar to this one. Slop drive, as Freddie would call it.
Mhm. Yep.
Maybe get a quick 3 and out here. Some field position if you can get a stop.
Caleb, we're gonna have to talk about that Emil Wagner recruitment. There you go. But we'll just throw it to Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, when in doubt, throw it to that effing guy.
Oh man,
That's why I did. They drove me crazy.
Stickers.
Yeah, they drove me crazy in the Texas game. I'm like, what's going on here? Is he just getting double teamed? If he's not, just throw him throw him a hitch. What are we doing here? Just getting the ball.
And the lead up to this game, nobody plays more man than Notre Dame. Nobody plays more man than Notre Dame. You gonna match up with that guy before?
Yeah, that was the thing leading into this game. Would they be willing? Because that's not really how they play with Al Golden. Would they be willing to do what Texas and Michigan did and just take him out of the game, or is he gonna just man up and trust his guys?
That's some good body control to stay in there.
It looks like Tegra Shabola got hurt, Nick. He's their starting guard. So he is out. Starting right guard is out for Ohio State early. And their starting center's already out, and they're showing him. And their starting tackle's out. So that'd be 3 starters out now.
Former UK recruit Tegra Shabola.
That's right.
Thought he might be portal in the UK.
He caught some heat. He caught some heat there for how the Michigan game played out, but I think he's played well. Oh, here he is. Oh. That'll get us close to that over. I think we had it at 58.5 for Henderson.
There you go.
Over 20 now.
Yeah, so Tegra was a former UK recruit. And then
everyone remembers Ryan Montgomery, the quarterback. Well, his brother's 51, the starting left guard, Luke Montgomery for Ohio State.
I'm sure that Ryan Montgomery it's gonna work out well for him at Georgia. That's
Speaking of Georgia, early top 25 season, it's fascinating where I think people are going to put them. That feels like don't overthink it. To me, it's just are we overthinking this?
Yeah, and some of it's how much you trust in Gunnar Stockton. I think a lot of it's just
he looked good enough to me.
Bobo's going to get a lot of heat this offseason, which he did enough to get the heat off him briefly.
Yeah, fixing their line's the biggest issue. Oh, that was a funky little, almost like he caught the snap.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of snaps, the Baker Mayfield and Bucks, losing a playoff game on that, man, it's tough.
Well, guess Liam Cohen can't do everything. Oh, he did catch it.
He did catch the snap. That was It almost looked designed. No, it wasn't
Oh,
designed.
no. It was just off, and he just grabbed it. Ball and
That was
play.
weird.
Surprised that doesn't happen more often. You see a fumble, like every once in a while, a ball skim off a shoulder pad. But hell, he had the wherewithal to actually catch it. I thought Howard was just running that. He had
He
some.
could felt like he could have got the same amount of yards if he did.
Uh-huh.
Now, I mean, look, the quarter. I mean, that might be last play of the quarter. It's an NFL pace right now.
Yeah. One more play, 3rd and 3. They don't have to snap it if they don't want to. Oh, see, this was something I don't think enough people talked about either, was just how much they used Will Howard in the run game against Texas. It's
Yeah,
almost
to me,
felt like they've been waiting to do that all year. Like, all right,
yeah,
we don't need to.
to me, the biggest advantage is this: they couldn't stop Penn State. Penn State's got good backs, good line, but Ohio State, I would say, is right in the same tier with Penn State. So you have to think they're going to be able to run the ball. You're not going to keep these receivers shut out that Ohio State's got either.
I'm kind of with Peak in the chat. Y'all can hop on in the chat, throw whatever our way. It does feel a little weird that college football is happening still. I mean, I'm fully in college basketball mode. The NFL playoffs, I was locked in all those games, but the Kentucky Wolf game was a long time ago. We've already got through the offseason, and they're still playing.
Right. Kentucky's roster, like spring class has started. The roster is set.
Yeah.
For the 95% of the roster is set. They're going to have players leave the team that were like returning players, and they're going to add a few more transfers in April, May. But 90-ish% of the roster is locked in, and the season's still not over. It's ass backwards.
Yep.
But it's the system. And now you're starting to see proposals for how do we fix the mess, but I just don't know what you can do with they're tied to an academic calendar that starts by a certain date. Like you gotta have players in school by a certain time. So
well, and you knew that the playoff was going to make the season longer.
they got to move it up to me. Like that's the season needs to start sooner. I mean, that is really the only fix in that regard. In that one problem, I think you just have to move the season up.
And that's where you get all the people mad at, well, rivalry week's always Thanksgiving week, and then you get into that sort of thing. People,
to have one thing, you got to give up something else sometimes.
Yeah.
That's something they're going to have to give up, I think.
I'm trying to think of when having a national championship after the wild card weekend doesn't feel so crazy, but the 20th feels late. Jesse asked us what we think about the size of the offensive line next year. They got Pete. I was I haven't been around to know the semantics of all that. He committed, but did he commit early enough? Was he on camp? Like what? The devil's in the details, but
I think he'll be enrolled for spring. I haven't gotten that confirmed, but that's what it seems like. But the longer it went there, Nick, it made it seem like it wasn't going to be spring because they've got. But I think they're probably got him into school somehow.
But yes, I like the size. I like the experience. You had the tweet with all of the snaps. And even for me, like, that's hard for me to conceptualize. But you have a 2-year starter in Braun. You have 2 3-year starters at offensive tackle. And then you will have Wibberly will be in his second year as a starter after starting 1 year at WKU. That's your least experienced guy. I mean, if you're assuming Jalen Farmer's your other guard, he's 1 year of experience too. So, yeah, I like that as much as anything. Guys who have played well for a long time. and have gotten a lot of reps under it. I like that, and that 6'8" offensive tackles. That's that's kind of the going right now. Be successful in the SEC.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to look at that and think, oh, big bodies move people as Judkins gets going downhill there.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's more so for protection. Pete, I think pass protection is probably the strength for him. Wibberly, I think, gives you more athleticism at the center position.
This is answering Chandler's question, so perfect.
And then Wolfslager, I actually think, is probably a little bit better as a run blocker, but when you look at him, he's 6'7" and wide shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like, just from that aspect, he's tough to get around. And if he gets his hands on you, I think he's got enough power and strength where you could be done. And then they're just big at guard. Like Josh Braun and Jalen Farmer are going to be two of the biggest, one of the biggest guard tandems in college football next year, in my opinion. I mean, that's 6'5", 320 in Farmer, and 6'6", 335, 340 in Josh Braun. That's a big-ass tandem at guard. And Wibberly's not the biggest center, but he's tall for a center, 6'5", 295, 298. So you're going to have a lot of size and length there. And I think that was the number one goal to get the protection. Finishes are showing this replay.
I mean,
Jeremiah
the orbit
Smith.
motion, it would have got me too. Like, that's a great play design.
Orbit throwback,
would,
just a little, swing.
Yeah, I thought they were doing the reverse. Like, I ate it. I thought, that was. I don't know how exactly they would phrase the.
Yeah.
It was like an orbit motion looking deal, and instead he's like, go the other way, and then a walk-in touchdown.
To me, on this drive, Nick, 11 plays, 75 yards, but Notre Dame early had that third down. Right,
Yeah.
they got the third down right away. It's 3rd and 5. They couldn't get off the field. Howard finds Smith for 7, right, on kind of a tight coverage throw. Then they only forced one more third down, and it was 3rd and 3. So, like, you have opportunities there, and they just couldn't get off the field in a key one, and Ohio State got rolling and really ran the ball well.
Classic run the damn ball. Run the damn ball. Travion Henderson had that explosive too, and you're going to need those. Will Howard has yet to throw an incomplete pass. Decent little start for him. Not asking him to do too much.
Yeah,
he ran for that 1 third down.
And part of taking the ball and going on that long drive, like part of the reason like you would like that is because it's a long time for that offense not to play after getting warmed up.
Yeah.
So you're on there, and a lot of times you see them come out and go 3 and out right quick. So again, Notre Dame had that chance. That could be a big moment in this game, especially if Ohio State maybe puts it on them here in these next few possessions.
Caleb said that Seneca Driver got a Michigan offer this week. He's pretty good at the football. We saw.
Yeah, it's that time of year where we're drinking out of a fire hose right now with recruiting because we're just trying to follow everybody. In Kentucky, like they had pretty much had a junior day on Saturday.
Yeah, it was low key junior day, a junior day without any hype because
it's
all the big guys were
a lot of Midwest guys.
pretty nice, convenient. I didn't realize that Tillman had a tackle too. I don't know when we
transferred there last year from Chattanooga.
Yeah, that whole Chattanooga Murfreesboro connection's working out well for the Blue Tornado.
Yeah,
having a top 300 tackle from Kentucky. It's just like, oh, that's been missing. You got to get those guys. We haven't had those around in a while.
Yes, but it's also a kid. Like that is nice, but it's also a kid that hasn't been here. He's new here, so you're gonna have to still sell him. But having Martellus Carter on your team should help in that regard.
I have a feeling he's gonna be playing a lot. That's true for
Yeah, I think yes, I think that's a safe assumption. They're gonna find a spot for him to play 200 or so snaps this year.
Somebody mentioned it with Emil Wagner earlier. I don't know how much we ever got like into storytelling mode with that one, but yeah, like everybody thought he was going to Kentucky. Everybody. When we talk about how Vince has such a good track record, like that's one of the few that got away. And if you recall at the time, it was Amada. a GA, or was he just
Yeah,
or some sort
he
of other
was.
staffer?
I think he was doing some student assistant stuff.
Yeah, but
And I
he had a
think
job.
the word on the street was like he was going to GA.
Yeah, but he had a job working for them, and if you watch his announcement, you can see how unhappy Ahmad looks because there was a lot of jokes, like, I mean, even made to his face, like, so I guess you need to look for a new job because I mean, everybody until right before thought he was going to Kentucky, and then apparently Emil told his family like 15 minutes before, and the
Yeah, I
coach
think his
the Notre Dame.
yeah,
That's it.
I think his family was even like stunned
Yeah,
because it was Kentucky and was it Kentucky and Michigan and Notre Dame? It was
that
Kentucky,
sounds
someone else, Notre Dame,
right. Mm-hmm.
and the consensus was it would be Kentucky or whatever this other school was, and then Notre Dame was third.
Yeah, it was a stunner, and you're kind of feeling it.
Yeah, you never know the ones that are gonna really burn. And that was one that ended up, I think, burning them. And even Ryan Baer is another kid they lost out on. He was a starter for Pitt this year at tackle.
Oh, I remember him. They were the same class, weren't they?
I think so. Maybe a year apart.
Sounds about right. You gonna watch this new Captain America movie?
Probably not. I'll probably watch it when it comes out. It's just sitting there on Disney Plus or whatever.
Yeah. During COVID, we watched all of the old Marvels. Like it was like a good.
What else are you gonna do? Yeah.
Right. And I had already seen most of them. It's like, oh, these are good origin stories. The superhero movies lose me when they start doing the time travel loops and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm just,
That's where you draw the line.
yeah, too much time travel. I don't really understand.
So you didn't like the Spider-Man when they time traveled and had all the Spider-Mans?
Still haven't seen it. Yeah.
You should see it. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. It's just we didn't like once Endgame came out, I was like, all right, see ya. But having Harrison Ford be kind of the bad guy. The new strategy with movies, they show way too much. Like you didn't have to tell me that Harrison Ford became the Red Hulk. I would have been totally cool watching Anthony Mackie fly around and also have a shield.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You got to show enough to maybe try to get these people to go to the theater. I think that's probably
Well, and that's what it is in recent years, they've learned that any sort of surprise or hook, it's better. It gets more people there early if you just show the big reveal, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever. Dad's kid's first cold/teething combo. Son is 14 months, great sleeper. Oh, but the last 2 nights are kicking your tails.
coffee. Good luck. Teething, like if you got anything, he get cold, like a teething toy. Give that to him. But there's not much you can do.
Right.
They're just not.
Tylenol. Yeah, you just Tylenol them up. But really, I feel like whenever they do the changes and it messes with their sleeping, it's like a 4-day thing. Like you kind of just got to grind through it for a couple days, and then they start to figure it out.
Yeah, and also letting them self-soothe as much as you can. Easier said than done.
Yeah, that's tough though.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Throwing it on first down.
First down. I got him in second and long here.
I do like the decision to be a little aggressive and throw it out of that.
You're gonna have to throw it eventually. He can't run QB in the B gap, A and B gaps for 38 times tonight.
Walker's asking $100 million question. He's not giving us $100 million. Actually, it's technically the $36 million question.
I think you have to ask a question to answer the question. Like, what does win the fans back mean? Like, what does that like? Does that like mean like approval rating like he had going into the 2022 season?
Which isn't possible in this one season. Like, there's not.
Does that mean like a portion of the fan base doesn't want to fire him after the year? Like, what is that? I think, like, for most people, I think to be like, the answer is like, what do you want? Like, what does he need to do to for it to be like, well, it's fine with him taking the like doing another year, right?
Yeah.
Where you could see some good like, so they have to show proof of concept to me. To me, a lot of it's just about first things first, like effort.
Free.
They need to get back with playing with their hair on fire. That's something they haven't done to me in the last few years. Consistently, as consistently as possible. Then offensively, you got to show something.
Identity. Yeah.
Like, we're going to talk about this summer. This is a huge year for Bush Hamdan, not just in the Kentucky lens, but like if he's going to, like any coach, he probably wants to be a head coach. If he's going to get there, he can't have 2 failed power conference coordinator gigs. Washington was a little weird, but it took him a while to get back here. Now he's back here, and you just had a really bad offense. So this is a big year for him. And so if they're going to fix it, this is probably going to be a year where they can take a big step. We'll have to see if they can do that. But to me, it's showing some type of proof of concept on offense, and then I think it's really effort. And then we'll see at the end of the year what it looks like, because the schedule could just be brutal. But they really just need to show effort, and like you can't play Louisville, Nick. It can't look like that last year.
No.
It just can't look like that. Like, it can't be at the end of the year, and it can't look like that in your home games. Like, that's another thing. Home games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what happens on the road in a lot of ways, but like home, you gotta play better. Just bottom line.
You also can't get a holding penalty on 2nd and 15.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, and it was a little. Ohio State guy did a good job selling on the scramble, because Leonard he made a great play just to make up for the lost yards, but they caught him.
Yeah, another former Kentucky target there, cornerback Davison Igbinison. Nick,
gosh, do you want to talk about one that got away? That dude's a badass. Brad, that was back when that was probably the last time they were still getting out.
That was right after Stoops agreed to stay, and they took the picture by the jet.
Yeah, him and Brad.
He had the sling on. Stoops, it feels like he has surgery after every year. He's working around with a cast right now from his ankle surgery. His sling. What did he have last year? Rotator cuff.
Yeah, nobody has more surgeries though than Harbaugh. Harbaugh's got to have a heart ablation. He's got a heart ablation.
Yeah, because he had to leave a game or something early this year.
Yeah, it was like some heart arrhythmia. And to your point, I think it's going to mean something for different people. When you talk to some people who are just, I don't know, not the my way or the highway, but are much more ticked off at Stoops. Not even 6-6 will make them happy. Yeah. They at least say that now, right? Because we're better than that. If we can win 8 games, then we should be. It's like
but I think the secret to all of that, though, Nick, is there's a feeling that they have lost their way as a program.
Yeah,
and a lot of that is just how they viewed it's being operated and how the team plays on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
We've scoffed at them, that they don't participate in the Bayou Splash weekend in July or whatever, which I think there's reasons for that. But when you don't do that stuff and you have years like that and you lose some of your best recruits at the end, it makes you, I think fans fairly wonder if they're all in. And then how I talked about, they don't play this. They don't look like the same Kentucky teams that we were used to under Stoops from an effort, tenacity, chip on their shoulder level. I think they're more. You can argue maybe they're probably been more talented, but they don't play with an effort. And as those teams, I think, played as a team together.
I'm with you. You want to know something else that is just I got distracted, but we're watching along, so we're figuring it out as we go. Modelo did their whole campaign this year, their ad campaign, as the Connor Stallions, like making a Connor Stallions joke. Doesn't that feel like 100 years ago? It feels like that was so long ago.
That happened last year, and it felt like it was over so fast. Like I didn't really get to enjoy it and all the craziness of it.
Yeah.
Like if that would have happened in the off season, that would have been a perfect off season.
But it was
scandal.
happening as everything was going on, and I was too worried about like.
Which I think if you would have been in it, like that would have been absolutely nuts, right? If that was Kentucky, or if that was a team Kentucky was playing, or if that was your rival, like it would have been absolutely crazy. But that it was football season gets so busy that it's just hard to be all in on something like that. So I never really got to enjoy it. Like the Netflix doc was kind of like my best way to kind of go back and relive something. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? And I realized that some other stuff happened and all that.
Saga was Central Michigan never confirming or denying that Stallions was on their side.
Oh, he for sure. Yeah, he for sure was over there. He knew guys on the staff. They just let him over there.
Like, we can't tell if it was him or not.
They just knew him, and they didn't think anything of it. They just gave him a hat, and he was like, you can stand there, but you got to wear gear or whatever.
Sean asked you not to call Toledo a stinky team. Why can't you call Toledo a stinky team?
I'm not calling him that. That's going to be a game.
How is Jason Candle still there? Why did nobody want to hire him? I don't understand. Like, I guess some of these guys though, you get a little comfortable and you'd rather be there than anywhere else.
It's also the stink of staying there too long.
Yep. Which I thought
he's probably hasn't been great in interviews. Would be my other.
Yeah. I was talking to a Lions fan at a bar yesterday who was sad. He's like, well, I'm hoping maybe these guys will run it back. And I think Ben Johnson was smart to do the get out before you get the loser stink on you and nobody wants you.
We also wonder if Ben Johnson had happened, then you saw what happened with Washington and Jaden Daniels. Young quarterback just becomes a star.
Mm-hmm.
You've got potentially that with Caleb.
Right.
Just take that and ride like it's you and that guy. With a franchise that's going to be motivated right now, I think, to get going.
Yeah, right. And you like the pieces, but getting them all to fit. I'm sure Bears fans got to be over the moon because Ben Johnson was.
It sounds like they're going to get Dennis Allen too, who's a good defensive coordinator. That would be
bad head
1-2
coach,
punch.
Great defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
it's like the Vic Fangio, just not a good head coach, great defense coordinator. Some guys aren't. Spags is the ultimate example of that.
Come out throwing it on this drive.
Man, that was
play action there.
Heck of a pass by Howard. Those are the kind of throws that just when you're able to layer it in like that, float it over the guy
just a little over. Yeah, just a little over out there, and he layered it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how good Ohio State is. Cardinal Tate is just like wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. He's an absolute stud.
That's absurd. Remember when Will Howard was going to be Kentucky's quarterback?
There was a time there.
Yeah.
I was actually going to pull that clip of me talking about him if they win the Natty. Because for me, it was like, I just like this dude. He just keeps coming. He's gotten – They try to bench him. They try to recruit people over him. The dude just keeps coming. You can't stop him. He's coming. He's a good player, and they could win the national championship with him. And he's been good for Ohio State. He hasn't been great, but he's been good.
Howard's done everything that you wanted him to this year. Who's to say that McCord couldn't do that? Like, he had 5,000 yards this year at Syracuse?
That just I think Day overthought that. I think he felt maybe a little hamstrung with McCord. But yeah, I think you see what McCord did this year, second year as a starter. They probably would have took off this year with him at quarterback.
Right.
I think they probably overthought that.
Oh, Al Golden. What's he scheming
3rd and 5.
up? They're going to bring some heat. Right?
He's going to he'll bring some pressure here, I would assume. No,
empty back. Dropped 8. He's running it. See, that's why when you drop if you're going to drop 8, you have to have somebody like Will Howard's going to get 5 yards.
Yeah, they ran a little slant here, Nick. Line slants, and they just got no one over here. So
See,
looks like
and
they're a man. Looks like they were maybe a 2-man underneath.
Yeah. Which that is a
concern. So you just got no one home.
Why are you doing? Yeah, I think you got to go for the kill shot there. Playing 2-man under.
I wonder if they checked out of it or if they thought he would throw something short there. So they just wanted to be able to rally to the football.
Yeah, because now, I mean, you're in field goal range, you know? Like you.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it look easy right now, moving the football, getting chunks of yardage.
Emeka Egbuka's got to have just the silliest stats.
He's honestly, Nick, like, I think for a lot of people, they'll look up next year in the NFL and he's having this really good year and they'll be like, that guy? Like, what that guy do? Oh, yeah, he was at Ohio State. He was the other receiver was really good.
All right, Matt wants us to just start naming some of our favorite college football players. Here's a random one, and it's just because I saw him in person.
He did say top 5, by the way.
Oh, top 5?
Yeah. Top 5 will be tough.
Well, yeah. I'm just going to
favorite and best are also different.
Yeah. Favorite. Top favorite. I'm going to put him in there, even though he doesn't really belong. But Noshawn Moreno was the first guy that I ever remember jumping over people. And I got to watch him do that in Lexington. And I was just like, oh, my God, this guy's playing another sport. But, hell, he's probably the 10th best Georgia running back I've seen. So,
Larry Fitzgerald. He's up there near my number 1. Baker Mayfield, I just loved his energy and his story and how he played, and he was great for 4 years. Love watching him play.
I was addicted to the Johnny football.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I've mentioned it often, but like the bowl game against Duke, you know, I mean, a lot of those games, that was must-watch football.
Another one.
Jameis does not get enough. Jameis was an awesome college football player. As much as we like to joke on him for being, you know, eat a W and all of his bull crap, Jameis was awesome.
You know, recent ones that I don't think – go ahead.
Remember in the Rose Bowl when the ball just went 20 yards behind him?
Yeah. But that last year, you know, 2013 was nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that was honestly like Twitter was around, but it wasn't really.
Yeah, it was
fully functioning.
Wild stuff on there.
Yeah. Sport wasn't covered like it is now. Not even close.
Right.
It was a lot of blogs and it was just different. No digital media space really. Like how like YouTube like on YouTube college football Ether would have Jameis, I mean, it would have been on everybody's podcast that whole year. But then 2014, like they were just like the craziest team. I will say Lewis Seen, the safety from Georgia, absolutely loved him because he just lit dudes up all the time.
Derwin James is like that too.
I think if I wasn't a Kentucky fan, Lamar Jackson would be high up the list, but I can't do it.
Oh no, he's one of my favorites because like I get to be like, yeah, we beat you. Gotcha, bitch. I remember going because Louisville, they would open up all their practices, and it was the year I guess they were trying to do the Puma Pass thing, and I was watching them at a spring practice, and I was like, that's the backup guy because he would go from like upright where he's like kind of just like looking downfield to doing like the roadrunner stance and just pew, pew. I mean, Matt's brought up Reggie Bush yet. No, I mean, the problem with Reggie Bush is like I don't want to say I hated those teams, but that was when I started paying attention to college football nationally. Because up until that point, I just watched Kentucky and Louisville, and it was just local. But the USC teams, I remember the Bush push game vividly because it was on the same day.
Yep. I love that Notre Dame team, that 05 Notre Dame team.
Yeah. But that was
Brady Quinn, Samardzija.
Oh, yeah. And who was that dude that would hit for him at safety? That guy was fun.
Tom Sibikowski.
Yeah. I mean, but that happened on the same day that Pat White got put in the Louisville game, and they beat Louisville in 3 overtimes. Like, that was like an all-time kind of college football day. So
Yeah, I remember that. I remember watching that at my parents' house on the couch.
Reggie Bush for getting me in there. I'm trying to think of some deep cuts. I don't necessarily know favorites because you don't want to say Cam Newton, but like seeing Cam Newton in person is just, I mean, he was like he's playing a different sport, you know?
Yeah. Sue and Dominican Sue is up there for me.
That Big 12 championship game is one of the most dominant things I've ever seen in football.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. The year Genty had, Nick, I wish he would have been like Boise State's big, but I wish he was just in more of a limelight because the year he had was just every time he looked up, he's just breaking off a 70-yard run.
It's like even if he was in the Sun Belt or just
or the ACC, just put the Boise in the ACC this year.
I mean, everybody else on the West Coast already in it, so you know what's it going to hurt?
Big night for Q Run.
Oh, well, especially on 3rd and short. Which, man, that's what I like about Calzada. He's a big old dude. I don't think they'll do it a ton, but he can get some of those hard yards. Beanie Wells is a random name to be thrown up from the pass.
Yeah, that's he wouldn't be one of the. There's a lot of Ohio State running backs. I don't know. Cadillac's a good one.
Well,
they were fun.
The Cadillac had Ronnie Brown, right? It was Cadillac,
yes.
Ronnie Brown, and was there one more?
No, it was just those two.
It's Arkansas. They had Felix Jones, McFadden, and Peyton Hillis. He's getting there. Touchdown.
McFadden is on my list. That dude was awesome.
Yeah. We knew some referees. There's a lot of officials from Louisville. And one of the guys that was a family friend was just McFadden's the fastest guy. Like, he was a side judge. He's like, you're just not keeping up with that guy. He's so fast.
Yeah, they did the Wildcat stuff. They were just good. And he, is he dad? No, I think he's cross. I'm trying to think like of Ohio State.
I mean, Maurice Claret.
Players that would be on the. Yeah, but that was only 1 year. And Michigan. No. Braylon Edwards, I loved him when I was younger.
Cardell Jones had an awesome run. Ohio State, my problem with them is they were always too good to play on the video game. You know?
We used to play with Ohio State and use the Urban Meyer Florida playbook, and you could not stop them. Well, they had Troy Smith again.
Yeah, Troy Smith.
You could not stop them. Once you got them in a spread offense, they were unstoppable.
Did Troy Smith win the Heisman?
He did. One of the years they lost to Florida, I think he won the Heisman.
Ted Ginn was a fun player for him. Because did he do some offense too, or was it just special teams and defense?
Yeah, it was just special team. It was just offense and special teams. He was the year they lost to Florida, which is when Troy Smith won the Heisman. Mm-hmm. First play of the game, Ted Ginn kickoff return touchdown, and then it was like a 40-0 Florida run.
Yeah. If you were not a Kentucky fan, a lot of people would say Lynn Bowden. Like we're biased by it, but that 1 year, just turning that dude on and watching him run a wing T offense, there'd have been a lot of that.
Yeah, Scattaboo was pretty fun this year.
Oh yeah,
Toby Gerhart, enjoyed him. McCaffrey.
Oh,
Devontae Smith is the best receiver I've seen in college football. They had the best year of a receiver. So if I'm going to name receivers, not Fitzgerald, I'd have to probably put Devontae Smith up there. His last year was just laugh out loud funny, like how open he would get and just like get against good teams.
If Randall Cobb played like at a big school, do you think that people would have him on that list? I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have done all the stuff he did at Kentucky if he was playing for a better team.
And Randall Cobb too. He's like it's how I think of Puka Nacua, except Puka's just bigger. He's like a running back, a receiver. And that's what Cobb was, right? I mean, I I mean, aside from the South Carolina game winner, I mean, how many times is he just sprinting down the field wide open? You know, like he was getting some hard yards
Yeah.
as a 6 foot tall.
Kendrick Law, speaking of that, has a build like that. He almost looks like a running back.
Kind of like that. Oh, it's a Disney World commercial. Y'all just did Disney, right?
We did a day at Disney World last summer. It was a good time. Enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Expensive, but if you can do it, highly recommend.
They got a Nintendo Land opening up. So kid's a big Mario fan. That'll be, I mean, not this summer, but the next.
Baker's getting in the Mickey Mouse Playhouse right now.
Yep.
It's on our house nonstop. I was like, we kind of mistimed this. We should have done it this summer. They would have been all about it.
You know, not the worst kids show. Mickey's voice is just very annoying. Like it's just it's very shrill.
To me, it's almost easy. It's easy to tune out.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can tune that out pretty easy. Some other shows I can't, but that I can tune out fairly easily.
Peak, what'd you have for us?
Kansas City or Buffalo this week. Who do you?
I like the Bills, but I've probably lost the last 7 bets I've had in the playoffs against the Chiefs. So,
yeah,
who am I to say?
I do like my Eagles future. Well, 4-1, plus 420. That feels like all right. I'm probably going to get them to the Super Bowl, and then. I mean, the Chiefs are just inevitable, right? Like,
it's disgusting. I mean, it's outgained by 150 yards when play. I mean, it's disgusting.
What did y'all think about the roughing the passer penalties?
It's Mahomes. You just got to play through. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is.
You think they're bad calls?
Both of them. I mean, they're close to the rule. He gets the benefit of the doubt. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
to me, what things that start makes me mad, like Burrow, just flop, dude. If you just act like a maniac, they're probably going to call the flag. So we need to just start flopping. Because that's what Mahomes, he does it. He does a good job of it.
I don't like when Mahomes, like, gears down near the sidelines and, like, is almost like daring them to hit him. Where it's like,
exactly what it's doing.
Oh, you're going to hit me? Let me step out of bounds and get this penalty. It reminds me, Kobe would do that shit all the time. It drive me nuts. Just like, how do I draw the foul here? Oh, you're going to reach in. James Harden got really annoying with it, and they had to change the rules.
The swing,
get it out of the game. But Kobe was the first one who did it. He'd draw a foul whenever he wanted to.
Yeah, they are what they are. You got to beat them. You got to score touchdowns in the red zone. All that kind of cliche stuff. Don't turn it over.
I don't think he was down. I love the person who suggested Percy Harvin. Yeah, Percy Harvin was so awesome. Those old Florida offenses.
A lot of it goes back to my playing video game.
Mm-hmm.
Is this danger zone time already for Notre Dame?
I mean, they can get.
It's getting close. You don't want to get down 2 scores.
Yeah, and they can get middle-aided really hard right here. Ohio State just runs the ball, goes up 21-7, and gets the ball first and a half.
It's a big swing in the game right here.
Yeah, snap the ball. Can you get? Oh my gosh! Twice
the old fumble Rooski here.
Twice in this game where they haven't snapped it. Snap the ball.
Yeah, hit him right in the hand.
But that was definitely not intentional.
So 4th down, they got a punt here.
Yep.
So they need it's only Ohio State's 3rd possession coming up. Yeah. They went TD to start. So this is big here. They just gotta.
Oh wow.
Just get into the half with 14-7 is the goal, I think, for Notre Dame. If you do that, you take it right now.
Best case scenario, you get a stop and a field goal, but they haven't been explosive at all. I don't even know how much you want. If Notre Dame gets the ball back, how much you want to put your foot on the gas still. But you know what? Give him credit. Freeman, did he do special teams or just the defense? Because, like, their special teams has been excellent. Like, that was outstanding. You're getting negative return yards. And somehow they got the kicker to figure out how to kick in the postseason, too.
Well, he was hurt. He just got healthy at the end, and they were playing their backup a lot of the year, and he stunk. But a lot of it was just that guy. He's been a good kicker his whole career. He just got healthy.
He's Jeets, without a bat. Will
Howard's got clean sheet so far.
Yeah. Pretty good when your quarterback's completing every one of his passes.
Hell, I mean, how many plays are they at? That would be 22, 23 plays. This thing is, they've milked this clock, man. They might get to bed at a decent hour at this rate.
Don't get your hopes up. Yeah, 22 plays. It's crazy. Man, Tuiamola is one of those that I'm never going to say it right the first time.
I think it's Tuiamola. I think that's how they call him JTT, like JT3 or JTT, something like that.
Was it JPP?
Yeah.
JTP. Did you ever watch Goldberg's? JTP.
Taylor watched that show, so I would catch episodes, but I don't remember. Yeah, it was funny. The few episodes I watched.
Yeah, it's a good sitcom. Pretty good.
Third down here. It's big down. Third and long.
That's what you call getting a little too cute, or just not snapping it at the right time. They're on the motion. Quick swing pass here. Nope.
Got a little twist coming underneath. Got him.
Wow.
It's just our other former top 50 recruit, Brandon Ennis, who's like wide receiver 6 for the Buckeyes.
Man.
Jay, they might as well just show Heartline and just thank you. This is how deep we are.
I mean,
man coverage.
Turns out it's hard to play man coverage against a bunch of former top 50 wide receivers. Crazy. Let's see. Who best player you've played against in high school?
Probably be Doug Beaumont. Top of my head.
Oh, Beaumont was awesome. We just played basketball against him. Beat him too. I was on the end of the bench, just watching. Definitely not guarding. But yeah, Beaumont was so fast, man. Like it was a different speed, which just makes you wonder if he was that speed. What are these guys like? You know,
you mentioned Cobb, just like very much a running back skill set. Mm-hmm. So it was really just getting him the ball and just getting out of the way. He could do it all.
Antonio Andrews was my guy. Another one who was really good was Ridge Wilson, who was at UK until he got into trouble. He had we'd always Central was like our scrimmage each year, and I was the defensive end on the other side of the play, and they ran a tight end screen to him at like the 10-yard line. Well, I'm like, we got two guys on him as soon as he catches it. Like, all right, I don't have to do anything this play. Well, he just keeps chopping his feet. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hell, I got to get over there and jump on the pile. There was about 7 of us on the pile by the time the guy finally fell down. He's a good ball player. One of the best, though, that I've seen in person would be I got to go to the Bush Brom game. That was nuts. Scored a lot of points.
I was there. That was
cold too.
It's one of the craziest games I've ever seen in that old dump of a stadium.
There's only one JTT. Who's the other JTT? Oh, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Home Improvement.
Hey, you're showing your age there.
Home Improvement, great show.
It is.
One of the better.
We watched it last summer, I think. We ran through a bunch. I think we watched the first 2 seasons, ran through a bunch of episodes. It is. I enjoy it a lot. It makes me laugh. It didn't make Taylor laugh as much, but I laugh at a lot of the humor in Home
It
Improvement.
really speaks to our corny, our corny blue collar roots.
Yeah, yes. I just feel his energy as a dad, like a lot of it. Like, and he does dumb stuff all the time, and it's just like, oh.
It's like you've lived some of those scenes out in Oklahoma, which, by the way, was on a plane with your sister-in-law today.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. But Home Improvement, I like it. I just like the characters. I like how it's set up. He's got the boys. I got boys at my house.
The Al is a great character, and Wilson is another great sideshow character.
Yeah, Wilson makes the show in a lot of ways.
Yeah, where you're like, how are they going to cover up Wilson's face this time? I do love all the people who are like, oh, watching going up against Jared Lorenzen in high school. That had to be. It had to be. Like, imagine thinking about guarding him, because most of the guys that I played that were better were basketball. I played higher level than 2A football. Trying to get around his big ass in the post. I mean, because those guys sucked. The wide body guys. There's this dude that played for Corbin, Leslie Mann, I want to say was his name. Or that's the name of
That's just an actress. That's the blonde.
No, this is
blonde hair. There was a 40-year-old version, I think.
Yes. Braden Mann, I believe was his first name.
That guy, wasn't he the punter at A&M, Braden Mann? He's like the punter for the Packers now?
The last name's Mann, Luckett. Let's get through the semantics here. This is a big son bitch. And I just could not get her. He was like a double wide. You try and you just kept going, trying to get around him. Yeah, Braden Mann was he wasn't punting God, though. That was the San Diego.
Matt Araza.
He's
punting for the Chiefs now.
Chiefs?
Buffalo cut him because of the
Stuff.
sexual assault allegations, and then he got cleared, and the Chiefs are on him. Braden Mann punts for the Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles, -6.5 was brutal. It was a brutal beat on Sunday.
Jake Elliott, man, make an extra point, dude.
Yeah, geez, dude.
It was pretty nice having that game on at a beach bar.
Yeah, I've gone down to. I've been in Florida at like my father-in-law's pool. It's like 65 degrees out or whatever, and it's a cold weather game. It's on TV. Or even like going down there and you can watch a game like outside sometimes, like basketball in February or something.
Yeah, it wasn't the best weather, but it was still Florida for the weekend. Never long enough. You know how vacation goes. Yeah. Ohio State's going to score a touchdown here, right? That's what it feels.
They're in the range here. Notre Dame needs some
havoc
play is what they need. Sack.
Have they had one yet?
We'll pull up the old box score. Oh, there you got it. You got that'll not the big one you wanted, but that'll help.
Yep. I got to burn a timeout.
That was actually a third tackle for loss so far in this game in 28 snaps. Honestly, Nick, I think this is going about how people thought it might go this game.
Notre Dame, good effort, but just not enough.
They just don't have the play. They don't have the players that Ohio State has.
It is kind of crazy. The first time we ever did this, 7 versus 8. You know,
I was getting Kentucky UConn 2014 vibes.
Gosh, still can't believe they lost that game. Shabazz Napier crying poor in the post game, going hungry. Oh, you never had a what do they call the meal table? What do they call that, Brooke?
Training table?
Yeah, where you just eat all the food that is just there all the time.
We've come a long way.
now we're talking about bidding wars for Caleb.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Bringing the heat here.
Oh gosh. I mean, he looks
like comeback.
Yeah, how do you stop that? And his hands so strong. The way they attack the ball,
deep. Just deep comeback there. The corner's so scared that he's going to give up the top, so it's wide open.
But I mean, this is
clean
a guy
sheet still for Howard.
The strength of his hands right there. And I know it's not contested at all, but that's the kind of teach tape you're showing, your middle school kids. Attack the ball.
I don't know if people just watching at home realize how big that dude is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a yoked up 6'2", 6'3", 220, 215, 220. 18 years old.
Oh.
That was it might have been the chance.
But hell, I thought Henderson was going to come up with it. That was about like the play. Oh.
He had it if he could have squeezed it at the end.
I forget which NFL game it was. It might have been the Bills where they just ripped the interception out of the guy's hand.
Mm-hmm.
That was an awesome play.
Poor Mark Andrews, dude. Great player. Just an outstanding Raven his whole career, and just to have a moment like that.
I know.
It's tough. He's so good. That's tough.
I think last week he broke their franchise record for touchdowns, which is a wild statement from a tight end. Oh.
Guy went for the strip there. Yeah, he's a receiver, though. I mean, he's a slot receiver.
Yeah, but still.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
You would have thought it'd be like Jamal Lewis or somebody like that.
It's also, too, I also forget that the Ravens haven't been around that long either.
Yeah, 25 years or whatever. What a run.
It's a big Henderson workload game. Usually Judkins is kind of the guy down here.
Man, Judkins is going to have a weird draft eval. He took
a lot of tread on the tires.
Right. He took so many. He's got less this year. But also, is there any sort of red flags from this season?
And this running back class is stacked. And the free agency running back class sucks. So everyone's going to be in the market for tailbacks in this class, but you're going to have time to wait for them too in this draft. So there's going to be a lot of, I think, good backs in the 5th, 6th round.
So they had to burn a timeout because they were going to delay a game from a sub. Which some of these substitution rules feel a little nitpicky, or I don't know what's the right word for that. I don't understand all the nuances to them because they're on the newer side of them, and I never had to play with them. So I don't know all the dumb little when you got to hold, when you can't. So no, Kirby, he was ready to fight somebody over the substitution rules when he got. But apparently their center never touched it, so that was a whole ordeal.
Well, we can get Beamer on, and he can explain them to us.
He's probably in the chat right now, right? Probably. Yeah, I would imagine. Like this comment from Timothy, he said prayers up to Coach Haywood from Belfry. He was in a bad auto accident over the weekend, so yes. Keep our thoughts in prayers.
Black ice, man, got to be careful.
Yeah, out in Eastern Kentucky, I'm sure them roads are treacherous. Nobody has more wins than the Belfry, longtime Belfry head coach. So hopefully Coach Haywood can get through this and be better than ever. 225 yards to 86. I don't know if Notre Dame has any outside of that first drive.
Yeah, both teams 3 possessions. Ohio State's marched it down each time.
Oh,
wide open.
Perfect.
There's that throwback again we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Just more willing to do it now, seems like, these kids.
You know what? I think part of it, too, Luckett, is DBs are so locked into the quarterback's eyes now that I think the quarterbacks use that to their advantage to be able to do stuff like that, to be able to look the guys off and draw the defender up like he did in that instance, or in some other times to look them off like you think they're going to be throwing to your guy on the sideline, and then a quick glance back and nobody's in the middle of the field.
Yeah. And the worry, I think, for Notre Dame, this is 3 long drives. It's not like they've done with short fields. They've gone 75 plus, over 10 plays each time.
I mean, what's their yards per play right now? 7 yards? I mean, that's pretty effortless.
Yeah, and they're throwing it. That's really the concern.
Yeah.
Howard's 14 to 15 for $144. And clean. I mean, this O-line's keeping him clean.
Ray's asking if he missed any extra UK football content. No, you didn't miss too much. UK football content. Bowl eligibility is once again an accomplishment. You know, that was the bar there for a while. Get it back.
Yeah,
I'd like to. Somebody asked earlier what your ideal bowl destination would be. Dude, that was that. If Stoops would have got us a Sugar Bowl, man, during that run, that's
the one. Yeah. Vegas now. I'd like for us to get out to Vegas. That'd be fun.
Well, what's going to be nice is that like Music City's going to be cool again when they get that dome built. That's going to be one of the better because it's already a primo spot for Big Ten teams. Like it's always an 8 or 9 win team in the Big Ten.
It'll get in this playoff mix.
Yeah. So like that'll be probably first dibs after Citrus. Because technically, like Outback and Tax Slayer, Gator Bowl are all supposed to be in the same mix as Music City. I think a lot of them are like, let's go to that dome. But I will say the people running that game just aren't as good as the people running the other ones. They gotta get that straightened out.
Yeah. Now, on record, it's not my favorite bowl situation. Yeah, we're going to the half here.
They want film. What is he want you to look up film right now? What are you going to do? You get a telestrator? We don't have telestrators.
I don't know if he's mad at that or if I'm not putting enough cut-ups in the film rooms. Maybe I got to just unload. Try to put 4, 5, 6 in there, but maybe it's not enough.
It's a long off season.
Do you guys think Notre Dame has much of a chance here in the second half?
No, because
it's gonna be tough.
Ohio State's probably going to go out and score in the first drive.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. Like, I think if Notre Dame figures something out on defense, they could probably hold Ohio State to 28. But can they get to 28? Like, that's the question here. Like, can they score enough to win? Like, what's it going to take for them to win this game? You probably got to get to 30. Like, can they do that? That's hard to see, especially with. To me, the bigger worry here, Peak, is the pace of this game. I mean, we're at 3 possessions each.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have the ball enough. Like, so that is
90 minutes.
Is that what Freeman said?
90-minute first half.
That's Ryan Day 58-4 when leading at half. That's not that good because they only have like 8 losses.
Yeah, that's almost.
Yeah, I mean, look, we started this live stream before the game even kicked off, and we're at an hour 28. Like that.
Yeah, like LeBron. Classic LeBron here.
Aren't you supposed to be like? Does he not have a game right now?
He does. He's LeBron, man. He can do what he wants.
I do appreciate LeBron just up there doing the OHIO like he's a Village People doing the YMCA. Just. So maybe the On3 app it isn't working. The video isn't working for there. So maybe that's the issue for Matty G.
I'd have to check it out.
Yeah, you might have to just look at the Safari because it could be an app issue.
The On3 Tech cannot keep up with Adam Luckett's video creation skills.
Hey guys, I have a non-football question for you.
Go ahead.
Well, it's a two-parter. What happens when John Calipari's name is announced, head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, John Calipari, and what do you all think should happen if you want to answer that?
I think it'd be a mixture of boos and cheers.
I'd boo his ass. What, you cheering for road coach?
I don't think he necessarily. Yeah, but you don't have to. If you go to the Georgia game, you're not booing Mike White. Like if you're at the game, like unless you're a student, the students boo everyone.
Yeah, you boo everyone. That's why you pay to go to the game is you cheer. And then during the starting lineups, you go boo.
Well, I don't think everyone does that.
Well, they're wasting their money.
So I think it'll be a mixture of boos and cheer. I don't think it'll be as loud because of the year Arkansas's having.
Oh gosh.
And like if the roles were reversed, right? If Cal was having this great year, Kentucky's struggling, he would get booed hard.
I mean,
Right? It's like when LeBron went back to Cleveland. Like they're having this great year, Cleveland, now we suck. He's gonna get booed hard. But I don't think that'll happen. I mean, it'll be a mixture of it.
If they win, he'll do the post-game press conference, obviously. If Kentucky wins, what do you guys think? Do you think he'll do the post-game?
Yeah.
You don't think he'll do like a special Arkansas? Like we only do some coaches do that. They say we're only doing our visiting people. Or will he try to get a technical 2 techs to get thrown out, like Drew Franklin suggested?
No, he won't do that. I don't
because he likes.
I don't know. That's a good question.
He likes the attention too much, though. He'll want the attention.
Negative attention, though.
It all just depends how the game plays out to me. You know, if they lose close, he'll probably want to talk. But if it's there and it gets bad for them, I don't know if he's going to want to go and take questions from our friends, some of our colleagues at UK.
What if like Matt? Yeah. If Matt Jones tries to get into that press conference room too, like, and other people that maybe Cal would not like to answer questions from.
Yeah, I think it just depends
how to get Kyle Tucker in there. That would be.
I mean, but like the thing is Cal just if he don't want to answer questions, he doesn't. That's what Cal's done for 15 years. He just like says gobbledygook. So like I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, really, that game's gonna have a lot of juice, and it's probably gonna be Arkansas's best game of the year, right? And there's a good chance Arkansas wins.
Yeah,
but that might be their only big win of the year.
I don't think they're gonna be able to score with Kentucky.
Well, especially if Boogie Fland is out. Then
wait, is he hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're cooked. Sorry, okay. I take it back. They're cooked.
Even with him, I just don't know if they're going to be able to score. As long as unless Kentucky just has an awful 3-point shooting game.
Why isn't there a Kentucky basketball game tomorrow?
Every team gets a midweek game off.
Like one?
Yeah.
For the whole.
It's always been like that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You get one during the year.
To go home quick to watch the Waltons. That's pretty good. Like that one, Nick. That made me giggle. Oh man, yeah. That I was really thrown off by having the week off. I'm bummed they couldn't beat Bama, but like, it's a grind. You miss your shots late. It happens. Because that's really what happened. Is they just Alabama had the well-timed run that Kentucky had been having. Mm-hmm. Ainsley Almanor hit 3 threes in 4 possessions at Mississippi State. So I'm not expecting that every time, but that was Bama's version on Saturday, right?
Yeah, they got up more threes. I mean, that's really where that game was to me in a lot of ways.
You're Mr. I love it that you're like making Brandon Ramsey look like he's anti-analytics. The way you're just like they aren't shooting enough threes.
They aren't. I mean, they had for how they want to play, like how they're built, especially against Bama. Like Bama's they're a better driving team. They're a better 2-point shooting team in all facets. So, like for Kentucky to win that game, you got to win the 3-point battle. You're a better 3-point shooting team than Bama, and if you lose that, you're just going to be very, very hard to beat them. But how Kentucky's built, they need to shoot as many as you can.
I think Kobe should take more.
30 plus a game is my kind of, and it helps now. I think that you get Almanor and even Brandon Garrison now that he's shooting them at the 5 spot. Mm-hmm. I think it helps. One of the more frustrating things has been Carr, him not just like squeezing them off. Like, dude, if you're open, shoot it.
He talked. Coach Brooks, Alvin Brooks, and Andrew Carr, Tyler Thompson, and I went and did an interview with both of them. And Andrew was even talking about how he's been so pass first, especially at the top of the key, things like that in his whole career, that trying to get out of that habit has been something he's been like working on. So like knowing,
F them passes, shoot that ball.
Exactly, shoot the damn
a missed shot is a pass. Shoot it.
Yeah. Yep. I argued that when Oscar Tshiebwe was there, the best pass to Oscar is a missed 3. But
yeah, Oscar shoot it and then just run in there like a bull. Yeah.
Peak, you're missing the president giving us a little halftime speech. Do you have any takes on it?
Oh no,
We could just
Oh, we need
gloss
it.
over this.
Stephen Peake, political correspondent for
what everybody was
11
hoping for.
Personnel Watch On. He's a big college football guy, though.
He's come to a
JD
bunch of
Vance
stuff.
at the game? Is JD Vance at the national championship game?
Probably not. I feel like today's a busy day.
I'd heard rumors he was thinking of skipping the inauguration to be at the state.
Is he like a Notre Dame or Ohio State fan? That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that too.
Man, that does have to be like the ultimate buzzkill. Like, oh man, I just won vice presidency, which easiest job ever. Like,
Yeah.
It's probably the one day he couldn't do it too. Like,
I know, like
make it happen.
I can literally get away for any other day except inauguration day. Oh man.
Do you guys like the new quarterback for Kentucky? I know you've talked about this on the show, but
Yes, Travis. I love me some Zach Calzada, and it's going to be a little bit annoying at times this offseason how much I'm going to bang that drum. But I like the intangibles. I like the moxie. I like that he's a big guy who can make plays under duress. He's got a pretty damn good arm too. Like it, he can make some plays.
He's
And
old.
He's been in the league before. Yeah, he's 25.
He's old. He showed toughness, resiliency. He's played and won games in this league. He's made throws you would like to see a quarterback make. And again, he had to drop down a level to get back another chance. So you like his just story and his background. Feels like the kind of thing Kentucky's going to need. And just knowing the little bit of we know about him, I think he'll be a good kind of person to have around some of the young guys in the room.
And you hate using this guy as the catch-all, but the way that Pavia had an impact on his team and like had the whole,
you're looking for like the diet version of that.
yes, like that's in Kentucky's had that in other guys before, where it's just like you have the one guy that you just, all right, we'll follow this guy into battle. Steven Johnson was like that. Like I think there's some Steven Johnson, but just he's bigger and more athletic, more skilled, and 10 years older than Steven Johnson was at the time. Hell, they might be the same. They might be the same exact age.
And the whole offense is going in with him at the same time. Like, 6-7 other starters are transfers with him.
Right.
So
you hope that they're all gelled together. I have a feeling.
I think he was the one they should have taken to me. Of all the realistic candidates, when it push came to shove, he made the most sense.
Yeah. The bigger question I have is actually getting True Edwards put me, I don't want to say completely at ease, but like that made me feel better about that wide receiver room. I don't know how good the Nebraska kid is, Dowdell. And like what does the running game look like with Dowdell and Wilcox? Like, is Wilcox going to grow into this player you think he can be, or is he going to keep being the same player that we saw that he was, which was flashy at times, but you can't trust him to consistently produce?
Yeah. True Edwards is one of my favorite gets of this whole transfer class. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good receiver next year for Kentucky, and then they're just going to have to hit on a couple of the other transfers and see if you can figure it out with what's going to work with Macklin over a full season. Running back feels like the big one, Nick. That felt like the one, like, all right, we're just going to go out and get somebody really good. But that's not really what happened. So it's a Wilcox, Dante Dowdell kind of combo. Now, Dowdell does some things and graded out well in areas Kentucky was bad at last year.
Mm-hmm.
Third and short, red zone, go to goal. So I think that's the plan to how to use him. But just how good is he? Can he be a clear first back for you? And if he can't, like, can you trust Wilcox enough to do it over a full season? They showed like 8 different examples last year that they couldn't do it, right? With all the different stuff that happened. From playing him to not playing him to the fumbles to just up and down roller coaster. So you need, really the answer is him. And then Dowdell gives you the change of pace. Guy who can move the chains.
On the roof of the dome, definitely not pre-taped. Halftime show. Can you name a Travis Scott song? Luckett?
I cannot.
Yeah, I don't. Chat, help us. Can you name a Travis Scott song? Yeah. He's wearing. Looks like he's wearing like the
Kid Cudi, right? There's something out there. Kid Cudi, Travis Scott. That happened, right?
Okay. Brooks gonna play a Travis Scott song that I should know.
Did one with Eminem too, I think, at one point. I think that existed. I might have dreamed it, but
I mean, that was cool. The little Trump. Oh, sicko mode. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, because people would like mosh and they got hurt at the thing.
Nick, a couple lower like
speak for yourself, Matt.
level Kentucky staffing moves. Andrew Verbois, who was the GA here, followed to kill shorts to Nebraska.
That's significant. They were big fans of Verb.
So he's gone to Nebraska per his Twitter profile. And then I believe it was Braden Berezowitz.
He was the one that recruited Macklin to UK. But yeah, one of the Brezowitzes went to Tulane.
They're both at Tulane now.
Okay.
One followed Summerall to Troy. Now they're both at Tulane. And so, like, those are guys behind the scenes that you won't really know of, but one has been around for the program forever, and one for boys was really well thought of.
Cohen was a big fan of his as well.
I've heard Dane Dane was a big fan of him, and I've heard a lot of people.
Yeah, there
really
were some people who were like, "Hey, you think there's a chance he gets Shorts' job?" And I was like, "No," but I know some of the players kind of wanted him to. So they're big fans of him. I don't blame him for following Shorts and hopping on the Dylan Raiola Nebraska train. Dana got him some receivers from the portal.
Yeah.
Between Dane and Gilmore and the kid from Cal, Nazia Hunter, and
so I guess he's going to be like an analyst there or something. But yeah.
So if you could only win one next year, if you had to pick Tennessee at home, Louisville on the road, which one do you pick? I mean, if you're losing Tennessee. 2 in a row to Louisville would suck, but which one do you pick?
Tennessee at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think where that falls in the schedule too, it buys you some time of belief because
it's in October, right? Like middle to end of October.
Nothing sucked worse than just realizing like our November was going to be pretty much pointless.
Yeah, well, it was all about next season in November.
Yeah.
It was clear what, unfortunately, you had to let them play out and see what happened. But it was pretty clear that, like, well, this is a lost season. We just got to get out of here.
Yeah. A lot of folks are taking the Tennessee, but Matty G, he's from Louisville. Just beat Louisville.
Well, he lives in Louisville, like we do, and I know that losing 2 in a row to them and getting on another losing streak to Louisville would hurt me a lot. And
but being 4-7 and beating Louisville doesn't do much for you.
No, but what if you're 5-6 and you need to win that one to go to a bowl? It would suck to end the season again with a Louisville loss. Like that would be,
to me,
enough to
say they go 5-7 though. Peak, I think in that scenario, a Tennessee win would help you a lot more than a Louisville win.
Yeah, it might keep them out of the playoff too.
It's just a big home win. It'd be a huge win in the middle of the season. It would be a big deal if they beat them finally.
My thing is too, Matt G, I don't like all of the Louisville fans I know are neutered. They are not what they used to be.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
The Louisville rivalry, I don't know when exactly it happened, but it's never going to be back to what it was when, Bobby Slapdick was in the house and we had Patino. Like when they had game day there and Patino's in his tiny little jersey and he's flexing. I mean, it was shortly after that they just lost any guts that they had. Like they just don't care in the way that they do. I mean, I deal with just the worst humans ever at Tennessee far more frequently than arguing with my Louisville fan friends.
You've never been spit on or punched at a charity basketball or a minor league basketball game.
Huh? But there is, for me, it just isn't as cranked up as it used to be, and I just really hate Tennessee. Like they're just number one on my hit list right now, and I think beating them at home would do. Like I think for a percentage of the fan base, like that's a good question.
Yeah, but Kentucky can't be successful if they're not beating Louisville consistently. They can be successful if they're losing to Tennessee regularly.
Well, here's my thing.
We've done it twice.
What percentage of the fan base do you think would take Tennessee? Like, where do you think the fan base falls on this?
I think if you had a vote, like a realistic vote, it would be 70-30 Tennessee. I think a lot of it is you haven't beaten them in a while. You lose to Louisville a couple times in a row, people are going to say,
"True,
screw it.
True.
We need to beat Louisville."
We're Tennessee. Like you've beaten Jeff Brom when you weren't that good, and the problem is just Tennessee is like this team that it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you just find ways to screw it up. And
well, it also feels like, how do you get this turned around? Like Tennessee is probably a series that, I'm not saying you're going to beat them every year, but you got to start beating them more often than you are. Like, even if Stoops is not gone next year, like the next coach that comes in here, like to me, their tenure is going to really, that's going to be one of the games that's going to decide their tenure. Like, it's not like you have to win it all the time, but you got to beat them a few times. You can't just keep losing to them.
And I know that Louisville fans will tell you that they're getting ready to go to the playoff and win the national championship, but there's a big difference in making a 12-team playoff from out of the SEC, which Tennessee did this year, versus being the fringe ACC team, right? Like Jeff's always going to have them near the top of that league. It sucks. It's terrible. It's a garbage league. Like they're going to be one of the 4 best teams in it and have a shot to get in the playoff, but keeping Tennessee out. If they would have been able to get that win in Neyland last year,
it's not just that. There's 2 home games before then. Like they should have won in 21. They could have won in 23. You go 0-4. So now you're in. That's about you are. I mean, but that's honestly, it's a big game, but it's hard to predict them to win based on what has happened.
Hey, real quick, going behind the paywall real fast. Saw this comment on KS Board. Ohio State is going to win the terrible sports year. Dodgers win. Celtics win. UConn wins. You know, whatever. Real Madrid wins. I don't know what they won, but they won something. And the Chiefs win. Kind of a year of the Blue Bloods, kind of. Like,
yeah.
Good or bad?
Take the Chiefs now, then.
Sorry, Bills.
Yeah. But Ohio State hadn't won since Cardell, right?
Yeah, it's been a decade since they've won.
Yeah. So, like, they're due. And that's one thing, you know.
That's Ohio State won a decade. That feels like what they do there.
And I know there's a lot of people who are just, I don't know what it is, but they think, like, I don't get the same Ohio State obnoxious experience because all of my wife's family, they aren't. Like, Ohio State's probably their 3rd favorite team behind the Browns and the Reds. And that's most people in that area. So, like, you know what? I can't feel too bad if Ohio State wins because they're having to cheer for the Browns too. Like, that's a tough trade-off. Huh?
Yeah, that's how it should be. You shouldn't get one great one. You shouldn't get 2 great brands in the same sport.
She says I'm wrong, though. Well, who's bigger fan then? Yeah, but more people care about the Browns there than they care about Ohio State football. I would say so.
Guys,
Since the guy not from there.
Rich Brooks did not break 100 today.
That's a couple times in a row for old Rich.
Oh, is it really? That's not good.
It's the wind. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Take a few days off. Go to the doctor.
Get back out there, though.
Wish we could have gotten Freddie's thoughts on this year's team. You don't want to hear him.
Yeah, we've got him.
Yeah, you don't want to hear him. He became a South Dakota State Jackrabbits fan. He watched probably more Jackrabbits football than Kentucky football this year, because Kentucky was they weren't a fun football team to watch. Not a fun football team to watch. But I think next year there's a real chance that they'll be fun. But there's a lot of proving it, and it starts from the coaches. Bush Hamden's his success is of the utmost importance.
Yeah, you need that. You need Wolford's free agent offensive line to hit. And you need some of these receivers to be good, right?
Mm-hmm. What happened with Summerall's? He gonna wait till next year? I mean, he got a raise at Tulane. I'm sure he's getting paid nicely, and he's gonna be. I compared it to Napier before, but if you all weren't following the coaching,
we need to see the
closely, but like Napier waited like 3 or 4 years. Were they in the Sun Belt? I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Sun Belt, but he like waited 3 or 4 years before. Being like, okay, I'm gonna handpick the job I want.
A lot of it depends on how this year goes, too.
That's true.
So let's see what he does this year. I mean, he's gonna have a brand new team. Like they have reloaded a lot of ways in the portal.
Oh yeah, lost a ton of guys. Did they end up keeping Craddock?
Yeah, he stayed.
He said, okay, all right, that's big.
Yeah, he stayed, but they took like 3 quarterback transfers, and they're gonna have a big battle, and they lost a lot of their best players. So they had a few. The Mekhi Hughes went to Oregon, the tailback, but they had a few kind of under the radar additions in the portal that I liked a lot. So we'll see how those all shake out. Like the Caden Samansa kid from Ball State, the quarterback. I've been intrigued by him the little I've watched him.
Second half getting going. Notre Dame fans are having they already started their meltdowns early. Ever been tied in a second and said it's going to be a long night. My favorite account right now on Twitter is the message board account.
That's more geniuses, yeah.
Yeah, Golden already checked out. Al Gordon's looking at condos in Cincinnati.
Bring him down. Let's go.
Is that official, Luckett?
Not official, but all signs point to that happening pretty fast.
Did we get any sort of reporting, or is it just like
There was one person who reported it was down to 2, but it wasn't anyone I would say that's like it was like a blog type, not a big blog. But there's no reason that I don't think he's not right. There goes Judkins rolling. This is how we hit the over, baby. This is how you hit the over. One big run.
Oh, they went for the punch out. Oh,
that's how you do it. But yeah, all signs point to him, and the Judkins rushing yard just went over. Catch them tickets, boys.
Somebody was asking, I'm the one who has the bourbon bet with Cousin Shane, and I'm going to have to change something up because I'm tired of losing that stupid thing. We're in Atlanta this year. Have you done Atlanta?
Not for media days. The one I missed was in Atlanta.
Okay.
When Baker was born.
Right. It's a good experience. Atlanta, it has its positives and negatives, location, everything down there, but it's fine. Like it's a
closer drive. Be nice. Shave about 5 hours off from last year. 10 hours round trip.
You know what? I think I'm done driving to Texas. My 2 drives to Texas this year were 2 more than I ever want to take. I think I've given Cousin Shane 2 bottles. What was funny is I was going to pay up with him this year, and Greg Sankey was doing an interview right behind us, and they were like, "Yeah, maybe let's not take it out of the brown bag right now." Feels kind of weird toting that thing around, but dude, it's a hotel. People walk around with bottles of liquor all the time at hotels.
Yeah, they have it at the Hall of Fame, right? Isn't there like a hotel attached to the Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Omni is attached to it. So.
Saw somebody say that they think having the national championship on Monday is a terrible idea. What do you guys think?
I love it. Cool.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, and I know there's some people like Brooke's very against it. She's like, why couldn't you just have it on the weekend? Make it easier on people. Which I appreciate that sentiment. I do like making it it stands alone and is like you're adding a day to the weekend, right? That's what it feels like for me.
And Monday Night Football has proven that Monday's a big like TV night. People will watch.
Great point.
Where people are at home, sitting down to watch TV, so more people will watch on Monday night. Where Saturday,
people have
casuals. The casuals are out to dinner, whatever.
Yeah, I liked hearing I really showed my age today and was listening to Terry Miners. That's when you've
hit dad mode.
yeah, that's when you've hit your middle age. Um, but they were like, yeah, why would they have it on the same day as inauguration? There's so much going on. I'm like, buddy, I'm glad I don't have to know that was even going on today.
That take I thought was weird. Like, why would that stop?
Yeah,
Stop them from playing a football game.
we all the
Didn't that
C-SPAN
happen, like,
audience
noon?
get crosses over. So
Yeah.
Yeah, inauguration is like middle of the like. Isn't that like 2 p.m.?
Oh, here's a fun take. Because Matt G brought up daylight savings time. This was a Brook Roush special. Instead of doing daylight savings time for like an hour, we fall back a month. So that, like right now, January has been as cold as you think of December and Christmas time.
yeah,
August is hell. Shouldn't July be that hot hell? Like, we need to get our months backed up to line up with the weather better. I'm all for it. We just have to-
it would just throw everything off. Like,
You
are you
just-
gonna have February madness?
Well, no. You're not. We just the weather this is for weather purposes. So like one, I guess.
So we'd have 13 months in a year. At one point
year.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, we'd have to repeat one of them to get everything on track. But if we did it,
Am I gonna make more money than I make this year, or am I gonna make the same?
Write-offs from the IRS. You don't get taxed for that month's income.
I in theory, I like where your head's at. I just don't know how we would get there.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense. But I'm not helping Matty G's theory that I took a gummy for
This is really something we should have done during COVID because you could have got away with this because who would have
Yeah.
cared?
Yeah.
But we weren't.
Back in order, but because like now, it'll be September and it's, you can still swim in your pools until late September now. Just crank it back up, make May warmer. Get Derby to be, like I like a good warm Derby. I like it when it's the first hot night of the year. Oh man, my brother-in-law is not handling this deficit too well because
This is what we would call a beatdown. Peak, if you go to that game comparison, just step right there, 306 to 93.
whoa.
This is what some people would call. You see this going around, belt to ass, Nick Roush.
Join a conference. Join a freaking conference, please.
I mean,
Ohio State's just best. They're the best team.
yeah,
Like,
they've been the best
they
team
reached-
all year.
Michigan woke up a monster, and they just been a different level. here
How
in
did that
this
happen?
Playoff.
Seriously, how did that happen?
Because there's a complex there. And
Yeah,
like,
it's a mental thing as much as anything.
Ohio State
And Michigan is not scared of them.
right. But the biggest thing, Ohio State they were like, to beat Michigan, we got to play like Michigan. It's like, no,
Yeah,
throw
don't to
the
Jerry
ball.
Lott Smith.
Yeah, just throw it to your these awesome NFL receivers you've got.
And Michigan's defensive front is nasty, and so they tried to play man ball with them, and they just let Michigan hang around, and that was really how they won.
I haven't dove into it yet, but I mean, didn't their other tackle their top two defensive tackles are going to be the top two on the draft boards, right? Mason Graham and the other dude.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant. Yeah, they're both up there.
Yeah, like
Does this prove that the playoffs were either way, I guess the outcome would say that. But just seeing how as Ohio State is dominating now, they're clearly the best team. Would they probably wouldn't have been in, right? They wouldn't have been in the at least the 2-team championship. So this is at least proving the playoffs are the right system, right?
Yeah, but there's an argument to be made that Ohio State would have got in the 4.
Okay.
Well, here's the other. There's also a segment of people out there that will say, these two teams are playing for a national championship, and they were on the losing end of the two biggest upsets in college football regular season this year. They shouldn't get a chance to win a national championship. I disagree with that line of thinking, but I can kind of respect it. I think this is a better way to crown a champion. Kind of like I like the Sweet 16 but I think it's a terrible way to pick the best team in Kentucky high school basketball. I mean, especially with the 2 games on Saturday, if they're still doing that. I don't know if they've changed that format or not. But
well, it's not even that. I think like how do you get the 16? I get why it's set up that way.
Yeah,
but it's also
it's
like
very
you've got
unfair. You don't have the
Yes.
16 best teams out there, which is kind of what you're dealing with the playoff. It's like, did you get the best 12 in there? And some will argue that, but ultimately the best team is going to win, and we got some really good games out of it. But it's going to take them a little bit of time to find the right medium. My bigger thing with the playoff is I just hope we aren't overreactionary to the results of this first one.
No good games. There are no good games.
This is college football, Nick. It's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be dumb.
Yeah.
Big dumb decisions. And figure it out later.
The other part too about them wanting to change things, it's like we had AP voters doing this for 90 years, just picking teams. Can we not just let the cake bake for a week or two before you got to go in and change up the formula again? And I know it's these people are driven by money.
Well, it's just everything with the sport now. All these changes are just warp speed.
Yes. So they feel like they have to move quickly or else it's, I don't know if I agree with the thought that like whatever happens in the next 2 or 3 years is going to happen for the next 100. Like I do to a degree, but I still think that it's going to take a very long time for the dust to settle.
Yeah. I know.
3rd and 8.
To me, I just don't know what, like, there's so much changing, and we got to figure out a structure and what our future is going to look like and all of that. So, until we do all of that, like, we got to figure out this house settlement. Like, what is going on with this? Because that is how we're supposed to build rosters moving forward. But it's not just football, it's basketball, too. And so, until that gets settled, because that's a guardrail a legitimate guardrail that they potentially have.
Is he punting this ball? He can't punt it.
Why did they do this? Well, we're only going to get so many possessions. If your goal is to win the game, shouldn't you just go? It's 2 yards. Run
the quarterback run with Riley Leonard. I don't know why.
Remember when I said still a possession? I wouldn't be surprised if they faked this.
I mean, but that would be stupid. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
what I say?
They did it, and it's not going to work.
Nope.
Yeah, like it was just go for it. Run it with quarterback.
That was the plan the whole. That's why he took the ball. Was that play right there? That was the plan the whole time. So he's just like, we're running this.
Stupid. Yeah, I don't know why you just don't. And that's why I'm generally out on fakes. Is that margin of error? Why I would rather have Riley Leonard throwing.
It was a good fake. This guy's open.
But he thought. I mean, it nosedives and the guy doesn't catch it. And he's got to catch that. And it's tough, but.
Yeah, that's their best receiver too, Faison. You would hope he would catch that. The takes on Ryan Day, Nick, are going to be interesting here.
Yes.
Because he's going to win the title, get the huge gorilla off his back.
Mm-hmm.
But quickly, it's going to be, well, you just had the best money combined. You still lost 2 games. You had this great team, lost 2 games.
Well, my thing is with when people try to say like, "Oh, you look at this roster you bought," like, yeah, so what?
This is why they bought it though. Well, they bought it to beat Michigan and do this.
Yeah, but that's the game. Like you can play it, so I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, but you end up, he wins the national title. It's not. They don't have a ton of them. Heck, what Tressel win 1, Urban won 1, and then they will win 1. It's about what they do.
I guess Urban went to multiple, but he only won 1.
I think Tressel was like 1-4 in championship games, something like that.
Oh wow! I
thought that was my next over about to hit the Henderson.
It's like it just
he broke through that line. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna hit his head on the goalpost. What do y'all think about the bowl games being played the following year on week 0?
No.
Yeah,
I hate that idea.
The part is the bowl, like you completely change up.
Bowl season rocked this year. Like
I know. And it's
It was awesome. I
The
thought.
whole point of it is it's a reward for your season.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole entire point of it. You would be eliminating that reward.
Yeah.
And then-
The best player, I mean, a lot of your best players won't be on the team next year. That's how college football works. Your rosters turn over so fast. That was even before the portal. Now, after the portal era, it's even more so. So I don't like that idea.
How many yards do you need
What-
for Henderson?
Both season, we're pretty close to, I think, figuring out how that's going to look long term.
Yeah, the Pop-Tarts, I think,
I need-
has been a nice little bridge for
I
them.
think I need 14 more or 15 more. I think he's got him at 58 and a half.
Okay. And then
Yeah,
throw
58
back,
and a half.
hold. Just go down. All right. Another pet peeve. Put your mouthpiece in your mouth or don't wear it. Like what's the whole what are we doing? Stupid.
Notre Dame is being outscored 70-21 in their last 6 quarters of national championship football.
I mean,
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
the one against Bama was really bad because if you go back and look at that year, they actually played a really good schedule, but
They got spooked. The stage was too big for them.
Yeah.
They just got spooked.
But like they had beaten a couple of top 10 teams that season.
And they got against Bama, and it was just the caliber athlete was just different.
Yeah.
Even everybody, because going into that game, there was a lot of people that picked Notre Dame to win that game.
Mhm.
It wasn't really like this, where I think most people saw
Kind of
Ohio State
see it
winning.
coming.
Yeah, I think that was jarring for a lot of people. Was like, oh, like Saban is like got a death machine down there.
Well, and they lost that playoff game, 31-3. Was it Deshaun Kaiser? Was that their quarterback for that game? Or who was it?
No, Ian Book.
It was Book. Okay.
Yeah, they'll get Clemson. A really good Clemson team.
Good, not great. But you know what? Like they beat some. They don't earn their way here. And
Yeah,
I know
they beat
beating
Georgia and Penn State, man. Neutral sites, like
Yeah, like
got to tip your hat to them.
right.
That ball looked funky coming out.
Yeah.
He had him.
Well, you can't stick a fork in Notre Dame just quite yet.
Miss this field goal, go down and score a touchdown. It gets a little interesting.
I mean, he just torched him.
Is this the first 4th down Ohio State has faced today?
I think so.
It'll tell you. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they hadn't gone for it yet. And the kick is
Curve back over the post.
snuck that one in there.
Yeah, now it's hard to even see it realistically. Like, can they get the? They have to go on a 24-0 run in 22 minutes, 52 seconds.
And like the only points they got, the only first down. Have they gotten a first down since that opening drive?
Let's look at the drive chart here.
Nope.
Nope. 3 and out.
Half.
Half. 4 and out. Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah, only 29 plays for Notre Dame so far on offense.
It's tough.
Yeah, this is what Ohio State's done pretty much the whole playoff, man. They're just better than everybody else. What a weird season for them. What a weird season.
Oh man.
Even now, you know what you know. It's like, well, how do they lose? Or like, I kind of want to go back and watch that first Oregon game.
Or how did they play with their food in that Nebraska game? Nebraska had no business.
Nebraska should have beat them. Yeah. What a weird season. Then they just got pissed off and said, this is over. And they just start beating the hell out of people. Good teams, too. Yeah, I don't think Lou Holtz will be getting his revenge here on Ryan Day.
Well, yeah, I don't even know really the origins of that beef either.
Lou Holtz, they played last year in the regular season.
Right.
Right? Chip Trayanum scored the game-winning.
Yeah. But what
Lou Holtz had a podcast and called because Harbaugh had that quote on Ryan Day that said he thinks he hit a triple because he was born on third base.
Right.
Which is rich coming from Harbaugh. It's like that's
Son of a
that's how he got
Michigan man.
an accelerated start. But whatever. And I think Holtz said something along those lines on a podcast heading into the game.
The fact that he even knew that Lou Holtz had a podcast, I mean,
that just makes you think they do listen to the clutter.
These coaches listen to everything, and it's
Mark Stoops has probably read a Nick Roush article or two, no matter what he tells us.
Yeah, when he's like, "I don't know how to work my phone." Okay.
Is he in the chat right now? Is he watching?
Speaking of online, Summerall, dude.
Yeah.
He is online.
Man.
The stuff with Trent Dilfer has been cracking me up. That's been a lot of people don't get it, I guess, because they don't even realize Dilfer coaches in that league, but that's been funny.
But he really has been because Dilfer doesn't understand. Like, he's the jock who's too dumb to know he's getting picked on, and he can't understand it. So he's
also flown in here from the outside, thinking he would just I'll do this.
Yeah.
Where I think some of these other guys they've done this is all they know how to do. It's college football. Right. And then they beat them by 1,000 last year. So I'm giving this Chad Powers stuff, they really made this a thing.
Yeah, and they did it with my man too. I'm a big fan
Glenn
of that
Powell. Yeah, he's a good
Glenn
actor.
Powell fan. I mean, the thing is, there's so many streamers just looking for content out there.
That's a good point.
If it's any half decent sort of concept, they'll make it. Especially a sports movie because, it gets in people's algorithms. I don't like watching any of it, but, I get it. Will I watch that? Probably not.
Manning's just printing money.
Yeah, and I will say most of that Omaha stuff, they do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of the SV pod this year with them running it. And then, the Manning cast. That's the first alt cast besides the 11 personnel watch along that I've been like, oh, I can do this regularly. Ooh, my computer.
Yeah, Manning cast is good. I wish there's a couple less interviews per episode.
Yep.
Don't need to hear a random actor like this, but the stuff with Belichick was good this year.
Yeah. Computer's running out of juice. Things are about to get interesting. Just like Notre Dame, running out of juice.
Back scramble. Yeah. Looks like Ohio State's gone into maybe a little soft zone. Probably dropping 2.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, too? Just dare Riley Leonard to make a mistake. And I know he hasn't done it that much as of late, but
it's a time thing, too. It's going to take him a while to get down here.
He's going to be
really they can score in the red zone.
Straining to try to make a desperate big play. So that's what, credit to Notre Dame. They made a lot of big plays this year. So they're going to be begging for one. And that's where when you try to hit the home run, that's where you can strike out big.
Actually, the game script just got away from Notre Dame here because I actually think that's kind of the tempo they wanted. But you can't let Ohio State go 4 for 4 on their first 4 drives and get touchdowns. That was never in the cards, and you needed to get some first downs on these other drives. Going 3 and out in a low possession game is the worst thing you can do. It's almost like a turnover when you're playing with this many limited possessions.
Kill shot.
That'll do it. It'll be a drive-ender there.
You know what, though? This is not the worst, biggest blowout in national championship history. That TCU game, I don't think I watched the second half. They were winning by so much.
Yeah, that was bad. Typically, how it works in this playoff era, if you get 2 blowouts in the semifinals, the title game is good.
Yeah.
If you get 2 good semifinal games, the title game's a blowout.
Yeah.
And that's what we've gotten here. Right? Penn State, Notre Dame was good. Ohio State, Texas was good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's flag,
yeah,
yep.
He was holding his ass.
The one thing about Benison is I think he's got the most PI flags in the country. So pretty handsy. So that's going to be something he's got to clean up.
I mean, he is all over him.
It's right there at the end when he did a little wrap. I think he could have got away with it until then.
Yeah.
Right there. Wrapped over the shoulders and around the back.
It's a cool face mask.
There it is right there. 15 coverage penalties. Which sometimes you got to be careful on these stats because they've played like a season and a half at this point, games-wise.
Right.
That's why some of these stats we're going to some of these stats we're just going to have to watch. Because it's like, this guy ran for 988 yards last year. Well, how many games did he play in?
Yeah, because somebody earlier was asking about bowl practices and playoff practices. I would just say we used to make a big deal about the bowl practices.
It's different era now.
Yeah, it don't really matter anymore because your team's just so different. I mean, 40 roster spots are going to turn over from year to year, and I know that's extreme because they didn't go to a bowl, but just the amount of players on your team, the rosters just drastically flip. So get them an extra 15 practices. Yes, it can be beneficial for scout team kids, but it's not what it used to be.
Well, I think one big change that is going to come at some point, and I think we're probably going to see coaches start to push for it harder here. There's going to be a big picture change to how we do spring football activities.
I'm surprised they didn't do that at the AFCA because they love the mini camp, like they call them their OT days in June.
Yeah,
because they feel like they're a lot more further ahead.
They have their whole team there.
Yeah. But like especially with the install, like I feel like the early days of install go a little bit smoother because they're already like they've done the playbook, and it's the same line of thinking with year-round school versus summer break. I mean, you aren't with those guys for 2 months. It all gets flushed. You got to start back over from scratch.
Yeah, to me, that's going to be the big next change because Kentucky hasn't even been. They're not even like last year. They were so banged up they didn't have all their practices.
Yeah.
And then their spring game was like, what even was that spring game?
Button up.
It actually ended up being more great. That Great House is a good player. Notre Dame team total under is now a little bit in jeopardy, 17.5. But that was a quick little drive, so see if they can get a 3 and out here. But yeah, that's
should be an attorney.
Not bad. I don't
a realtor. No, realtor's his future.
Yeah, that's a good one. Some type of real estate. I don't know what it would look like, but there's some type of mini camp. Oh, some type of thing they could do that I think they would prefer. I've seen a proposal where you get 15 practices, but you spread them out.
Yeah.
So you might do 5 one week, take a month off, 5, and
Yeah.
But what does that mean for spring games and all of that?
Oh,
what is the replacement for the spring games if you do that? A little shovel for 2.
Mm-hmm.
2-possession game.
I like those plays. They had the Lions did the one where they handed it off and then did the pitch. That was fun.
Yeah. What was the total here, Nick? 48.5?
Something like that. I'm going to have to take a brief break during this commercial break to get us plugged back in. So,
You do that. I'll open up the chat and we'll take some questions once I look up this total. 44.5. So we just went over there on that touchdown. Go over in the third quarter. No, a lot of people are on that under. So that thing, thanks mostly to Ohio State, went over. So I'm going to dive in the chat now. If you have any questions, send them my way. You know, Matt G, I've been wondering that myself. Water out of the mason jar. We'll get that when Nick gets back. That has crossed my mind a couple times. Johnny Red, 1950. Notre Dame makes Tennessee look good. Got a little chuckle out of that. Let's see here. Nick Bowman said moonwater for Nick Roush.
Do you think second year Bush Hamden, he's kind of gotten a few SEC games now under his belt? How do you think he does?
Yeah, I mean the thing with Bush though is he came from he was at an SEC school, so I don't think SEC crazy. I think or anything next year. I think the personnel didn't fit, and I think you can argue how much more should you have made it fit, or how much more should you have adjusted? So I think second year it's going to be better, continuity, all of that. It's going to be better. I just don't know how good they can be, and I think for them he's got to show real progress from last year. You can't have one of the worst offenses in the league again. So we'll see if it works out, and we'll see if they hit on this personnel, and this personnel really fits what he wants to do. But he's very much, I think, tied to this transfer class, like we've mentioned. Mm-hmm. Gotten 7-8 guys that I think could start for them. And so you're going to need those guys. And all those guys are old, juniors or seniors. Some of them are in their 7th year of college football. And Calzada and Drew Edwards. So those are the guys who are just going to need to play well, and the season's going to ride, I think, on a lot of those kind of older pieces they added in the portal. Who slid into Sidney Thomas's DMs? The clubhouse favorite's probably Lane. Someone I did. Next day she's putting up. I saw the picture she put up with Saban, so that was pretty funny.
Who would be second? I mean, obviously Lane Kiffin. One. Is there somebody who
to me, who's the least likely?
Yeah. He's the
Clark. You don't see Clark Lee doing that. A man of high integrity. Sam Pittman. That would be funny.
Sam Pittman from Arkansas. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Hugh Freeze. That's probably the right answer. Yeah, you probably got that right there, Caleb. Or there, CJ. What's your Calzada player comp? That is interesting. I'd have to think a little bit about that. Off the top of my head, I don't have one, but I'd have to think a little about that. What if it's Drinkowitz at Missouri? That maybe. Ooh. How are we feeling about Al Golden? My 2 cents. This game has not changed me. I think Al Golden's a good defensive coordinator. I think that would be a good hire for the Bengals. And the Beanie Man is. People got questions for you, Nick.
Good questions. I hope. What do I do?
The Mason jar has got people bewildered in the chat.
It's just these are our cups that we drink from. I wish this was something more, but no. I just this stuff little. I pour it in here because then the bubbles. It feels bubblier. So
it's like when you drink Coke, right? Like you want it to a Coke's better in a glass than it is in can.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I do. Yeah. So we're slowly reading a little fizzy bubbles. Nothing mixed in there though. That did that all weekend in Florida.
We also were asking what coach slid into the Sidney Thomas DMs.
I do like the Hugh Freeze
Hugh Freeze and Drinkowitz are the current leaders in the 11 personnel chat.
Because Hugh Freeze just doesn't have the self-awareness to know that that's going to come out eventually.
Was it for sure in a head coach? Is Bobby Petrino? Is he Possible?
Yeah, was it like some random receivers coach?
Well, there's at least like a dozen of those, I would imagine. Ray's asking why is Grace going to play defensive end instead of edge? Because he's a defensive end.
Well, here's the thing with the edge classification. Like edges typically means defensive end or outside linebacker, so one in between. And what Kentucky plays, like the 3-4, there's a difference between a 3-4 defensive end and kind of an outside linebacker. Like Josh Pascal in the draft was classified as an edge, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a 3-4 defensive end who's playing kind of like, I think, both tackle and end for the Lions, who I think were a 4-down front. So that is your answer. Like edge is a big classification, but there's multiple type of edges.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases too, the way they line up, you would think like, oh, that's just outside linebacker, but no, how they phrase it. So I don't think it matters as much one way or the other. He's going to be setting hard edges in the run game, hopefully providing some explosiveness in the pass rush. We've already got some people heading to bed. I get a feeling we might not be too far behind. Let's see what Ohio State does here.
Yeah, we'll watch this. I think we'll make a decision after this possession.
Yeah.
If they score, we can maybe see if Notre Dame does anything. But if they score here, it feels pretty much over. But if they don't, it gets a little interesting. Speaking of peak, what was that like watching the Kentucky game? I couldn't imagine you on a live stream. Kentucky's playing basketball.
It was in my mind is what was happening.
Was that the Georgia game?
It was the Georgia game, and they were just fancy calls galore. One of the least enjoyable experiences, and we got it all on video.
That was a Don Daly special. Oh, that was ridiculous.
I mean, they played 3 straight 2.5-hour basketball games.
It's crazy. It's just what are we doing here? Going through the video right now for that travel video that we do, and it's like it's every time the crowd gets up, you just hear a whistle, and it's just
And to me,
they weren't fouling. I mean, I'm not arguing that they weren't fouls, but I don't know. Just it's hard to watch sometimes. Like Amari Williams getting hugged at the top of the key, that's legal. But I guess if he makes a move to the basket, it should be an automatic foul. I don't know. It's just refereeing is not monolithic in college basketball, and it's a tough game to call.
To me, the more crazy thing is like the rest Kentucky has had the most in the Cal era, like Doug Shouse, Pat Adams. You're not getting them as much, but now you're getting officials that didn't call. Like we had Doug Sermons on a game. Like Doug Sermons didn't do many Kentucky games after that Wisconsin situation, and Cal getting tossed to South Carolina when he absolutely lost his mind on him the next year.
Oh, that was a great one. All-time great one.
Third and 1, brotherly push. Brotherly shove, whatever they call it. First down, Buckeyes. Brian Hartline's fascinating to me, Nick, because it's like, are you going to do this forever?
Yeah. And
if Dave just said, I'm done, I retire, how much consideration would he get for this job?
I don't know. But Hartline he's kind of like a Vince spot.
Yeah.
Where it's nothing but gravy from your own fans, but how much they trust you to take on more responsibilities elsewhere. And then what place is going to, like, especially for Hartline, like, where can he go to call plays that he can recruit the way that he's recruiting now? Like all these guys that he's getting Ohio State.
To me, that's not the move. He's got to go be a head coach somewhere. So, like, if Cincinnati opens, can he get the Cincinnati job? Like, if Satterfield gets fired. That seems like the move. Or, like, if Kentucky, if he was interested in Kentucky. Like, a place like that would seem like the move for him.
And then, but then that's the question. I guess it would almost be like Fran Brown.
Yeah, but Cincinnati's also a harder job than it's been. Like, you would honestly want it when it was in the American, like when Fickle was there. It was an easier job then because you could just win the league and use it as a launching point. Where now it's mid-tier. Roughing the passer.
Yeah. I can't believe they called that, but we also were out of the camera but that's a huge penalty instead of 3rd and medium, you're just letting him move the chains. Did he hit him high or something?
A little push at the end.
I mean, just why'd you shove him? There's no reason to. Great selling it, Will Howard. To your point, we need more selling the fouls on the threes from.
Well, that's just what. If you're a quarterback, that's just, to me, that's what, I know you don't want to do it, but it's just get what you got to do, because they're going to call them if you do it.
Oh, people forget Scott Satterfield's still a head coach.
This is the swing right here, because they're about 15 yards from field goal range. So if they get into field goal range and add 3, the game's over, and we're going to go to the 4th.
4's up. Man, do you ever miss Marcus McClinton yelling at you when the 4th quarter would start at Kroger Field?
That and Jared, I think, was a good idea. It just didn't really work.
Yeah.
I think what they do now is kind of what they were trying to get to.
Right.
So, but there's stuff Kentucky can do to improve in game, but I think they don't give him enough credit. That was a good effort at trying something new.
Yeah.
To see if something would stick that could last. And
it kind of worked for a little bit, but the hard part is doing it on a consistent basis, especially when things are bad.
Yeah, I think they would run Jared or Marcus out there when the game was over at the start of the 4th quarter, and it's just like, now's not the time.
Yeah. I don't need to hear from you right now. Like, this isn't going to help anything.
Yeah, but I think they ended up getting to the spot they wanted to get to. Just took a little bit.
Yeah, and it is pretty wild, just the,
they have to improve on the intro. Like, it feels like the intro should pop more.
Yeah, but it doesn't take a whole lot to fix that.
Because everywhere else we go, it feels like their intros are just better at these other SEC schools.
I just think yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think, but a lot of it's just tightening up the hype videos and everything. Because I feel like we do the Grove Street party, and then there's like a lull once they get on the field before you pick back up. Whereas like Georgia will have Bob O'Reilly and all that kind of rolling to keep the energy up until kickoff arrives. But all in all, I mean, as much as we give Mitch guff, the changes over the last 15 years or so, more so positive. And I know there's people out there that lost their spots and their tickets and they were over it, but I mean, to get the stadium upgrade, you got to give up some stuff. It was going to happen.
And there's also tailgating changes on the way that I think it's going to irritate people this offseason.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's going to be probably a summer thing. But when that happens, it's going to be a decent amount of people upset.
What we've heard about from that, I think it'll overall be fine. But there's just going to be some...
It's going to be a learning curve, I think, on that. Yeah.
Because essentially, like, Kentucky's just getting a middleman to handle tailgate assignments. So prepare for that. It's coming. It's coming around the bend.
Yeah. But ready for good tailgate. Also, Kentucky spring game. I know that's going to be a question people are going to ask here soon. We don't know really anything yet.
I feel like they got to have one, though. You can't excuse your way out of this one.
When's the concert? The summer concert.
It is opening night at Churchill, I believe. It's like April 18th or something.
It's right around spring game time. So that would be your out. I'm with you. They need to have something.
Even if it's just open practice. I mean, what they did last year was fine. I enjoyed it. Even if it wasn't tackling all the way to the ground. I'm good with that. Yeah,
that's typically something we learn, right? I mean, if these game dates are starting to be released. Not a ton have been released, but they're starting to come out. Like that's something typically we get released in the next couple weeks. So just something to keep an eye on. All right, we're back. Second and long here.
Mm-hmm.
Howard in the gun.
Feels like they're going to get it to 3rd and 3 right here.
Formation in the boundary here. Stack, and he comes back in motion. Oh, little. That was nice little design there by Chip. That's going to get him in field goal range.
Oh, he could.
Here we go on the review. It's going to be close in this review. I thought he was down live.
It looks like the ground forced it, but
yeah, that ball's going to head. Unless he got poked, he's probably down.
Because that was an awesome play call.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Everybody was going with that motion. They'll probably
he got punched.
Oh, wow. Wow, what a punch out.
Yeah, that was a great play. Al Golden, baby. Drake Bowen, linebacker on the punch out there, 34.
I mean, he just hit it right on the spot.
Effort play there by Notre Dame.
Man, you're really going from one end of the spectrum to another, from Lou Anarumo to Al Golden. College football journeyman. Is that
yeah, but it's funny because he was on the staff for the Bengals in 21 when they won the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah. He went from there to be Notre Dame defensive coordinator. So he had a 4-year stint there in the NFL with the Lions and the Bengals.
Didn't realize that. I just remember him wearing his shirt and tie on the bench.
That's really why he's getting hired, because he's got that familiarity with them, and he's been really good at Notre Dame.
Tyler Childers is 4:30. They said that's later.
Yeah, okay.
That's late. Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that early in like the summer, I guess, or spring.
Yeah,
summer.
they're doing it like the week before Derby, which
not a bad idea.
No, you want to talk about one thing that is dumb though? Why does the University of Kentucky have graduation on Derby Day? What?
Taylor, when she graduated, they do the split Saturday, Sunday. So I went to a Derby party and then had to drive to Lexington for graduation. Was a little hungover for that.
Just a little?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the thing where I just went an extra semester, so I graduated in December.
What are you doing, Leonard?
I don't know.
3rd and 9.
He's just hoping Ohio State will fall asleep and he can throw it across his body.
At this point, you're only down 2 touchdowns, but it kind of feels like 4 down because it's not just 2 touchdowns. You need the 2-point conversions as well. So the odds, aren't necessarily great. Even if you score twice, you're going to tie it. So you almost have to think at like we're down 3 possessions. So it feels like they would have to go for it here.
Well, and the other part too, like, that's why this 3rd down, just try to get some of it back. Maybe you can make a man miss. Man,
the ball fluttered out of there.
Wow,
Great house again.
I didn't think he was going to be able to get that off. That's what it looked like. The ball was fluttering.
I think there was a backer coming in. I think the back picked it
off
up.
the backside. See, when you get matched up,
it's on
these
Ohio State's Mike linebacker
in the slot. Like that's why, and that's probably why you're so big on True Edwards. Using him to create mismatches.
Yeah, I like his versatility. I like some of his acceleration after the catch. What he can do. Some of his route running.
Oh, conflicting reports that Tyler's the same day as Thunder.
So that would be 2 Saturdays for Derby.
You a Thunder over Louisville guy like it?
No.
Never?
I mean, when I was a kid, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you were like, did the Luckett household pack up and go down, sit on the waterfront all day, or how'd y'all do
Yeah,
that?
my mom used to work downtown, so we would go to her office building.
Oh,
Did that almost every year. That was fun as a kid.
We got friends who live on the Indiana side, and it's great for like the air show during the day when they come by.
Oh, that screen is
Kids.
busted up.
Yeah.
The thing was junked up from the start.
More me being old, air show. Love it. Look at that big old plane.
Yeah, I have a buddy that they do the Bats game and just watch it there every year. He said they'd really like that.
Well, you got all the bathrooms and everything's close there. I get it. I did that one time and Aroldis Chapman was pitching. So like 2 for 2.
Yeah, my only thing would be, but weather pending, whether it's hot or I guess you don't really have to worry about the heat because it's April at that point.
Yeah.
It's really just about the cold. Make sure it's not
Might get a little
super cold.
sunburn. Oh man, that's gonna be a long third down. They didn't get much back there.
Yeah, what are we looking at? 3rd and 13?
Something like that. So I did receive some confirmation. We have Thunder's April 12th, Childers is April 19th. Boom.
There you go.
Love how long we just debated on something that we could easily Google.
That's the fun of that's what they used to do before cell phones or before really
Before the
internet
internet.
on cell phones. All right, this is manageable. We're gonna have
Yep.
about
7.
4th and 5, 6. Call it 4th and 5. Go. Notre Dame overloading the left side into the whole evening back up.
Yep.
Motion man. Got time.
Smart.
Second or
Keep
third
his
read.
eye
Got back
in.
to Great House again. That was the night. That was probably Leonard's best play of the night, right there. Went through his regressions. Was on time. Hitting the guy on the backside.
So if they score here, get a 2-point conversion, does Ohio State tighten up a little bit? Like
They could. It gets very interesting.
That's when you got to be able to run the football.
It would be Team of Destiny type stuff. For release right there, about 6. Great House showing up again in the playoffs, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this possession right here, hell, they've gone 63 yards in 3.5 minutes. It feels like light speed compared to how they were moving early on.
Yeah, these 2 games, though, for Great House, everyone's going to be like, this guy's All-American team next year.
Yeah.
He's getting some clean pockets here.
Defensive holding.
Well, he almost looks so open. I wonder if they caught a push-off on Notre Dame. Holding. I don't know about that. That's a call.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the.
That's got to be PI if that's a call down there. That's not holding comes before the pass.
Was it earlier in the route and they just don't have the replay for us?
They're showing Caleb down, so I wonder if the call was on him. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Benison.
Got his arm wrapped around. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a call on Burke. That was good coverage, I thought.
Oh, nothing. There you go. Take some time off. Caleb Downs has another year of football, right?
Yeah, he's a true sophomore.
That's crazy.
That too on 7. They could have. I mean, that's 2 defensive holdings they showed on that play. That actually probably was the call if they were called it from that side.
Because you saw the flag flying underneath. Matt G says it's over, so definitely not trying to jinx it. Oh, there it is, the fade. But he quit running it.
Nice little. He sold the contact there at the end. Tight end.
Yeah, I don't like that play there. I wonder if Riley Leonard's going to get a Mike Denbrock bump after Jane Daniels here.
Yeah.
Completely different players, but heck.
Hey, Desmond Ritter too. Denbrock's had a run.
Desmond Ritter, not very good at playing quarterback.
He's looking for Great House. I know that.
I wonder who he's going to try to go to here.
This was how Ohio State really. It's how they beat Texas, right? Was he kicking?
What?
That's odd.
What?
I think the thought is you could get 2 more possessions in this game.
Well, that is a decision. I mean, they're not going to get closer the rest of the night.
Why the hell would you do that? That literally makes no sense.
He missed it off the
like,
post.
this is what you get, you dingus.
Wow, what a weird way to miss that kick.
Oh,
Ball looked like it hit the inside of the post.
Yeah, bounced right out.
Why would you do that? I understand.
Well, I think the thought is
it takes the pressure
you're down
off conversions, but I mean,
you're down 2 possessions, but you got to score and then you got to do something twice that probabilities say you probably won't hit both of them. God, that was a weird doink.
Which I get that. I get that. You already got one. What are the chances you get 3 2-point conversions in a row, even if you were to score 3 times? But that's really your only way. Like with 9:30 to go, that just the numbers weren't in your favor when you got down 31-7.
Yeah, he just said again. You don't trust your offense against that Ohio State red zone defense. Like they're just hard to score on down there. They're the number 1 red zone defense in college football. So they had 3 shots at what were they at the 7 or the 5, and they couldn't even complete a pass.
Like I think even if you make that, the game's still.
I mean, this whole what just transpired was the announcer saying they've got plenty of time left on the clock. They don't need a 3 here. Like,
yes, when they absolutely need a 3. Yeah, there's 11 seconds left. You need to shoot a 3.
Technically, you don't, but like, man, you're 9 yards out, right? Like, you got it within arm's reach. Just rip it, dude. Oh, what's the worst? Ohio State's got the ball in the 10. You're gonna have to get a stop anyway. At least they're back inside the 10-yard line. Yeah. I didn't like it. Not a lot of people will.
31-18. Okay, you get a 3 and out, and there's like they're not taking their timeouts, so they're gonna run the clock down. How much time's left after that?
Depends if there's an incompletion or not. But
Okay.
yeah, you're getting the ball back with like 7-ish minutes.
You come down and score.
Yeah.
There's enough time where you can, if you get a quick stop, get the ball back, score quick, you're going to have a time with timeouts to get the ball back again.
I just feel like what's more likely that you can get enough stops in that amount of time and get 3 and outs, or get 2 more 2-point conversions. I mean, either way, it's a.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying the thought process would be that extends the game.
Yeah.
For longer. Where if you don't get anything, like case of point, you have turnover and downs because you miss a kick, the game's over now. Where that at least keeps you alive with timeouts. Within 2 possessions. And again, you're still down 2 possessions, but it feels like 3 because you have to get not 1 2-point conversion, 2 2-point conversions.
Notre Dame waving the white flag.
And the Notre Dame team total under is still alive.
I wonder what message
next to that miss.
What they're saying on some message boards right now.
Oh, I'm sure everything is going well.
They'll get over it quick. I mean, this was a incredible run they had. Really an incredible season. You lose Northern Illinois and then just catch fire.
I cannot.
Now I need to get Travian Henderson in this game. All right, Judkins, you got yours. Let's get 32 in here and get 15 more yards. I think need. I only need 5. Shoot. You said 49, or I need 10. Excuse me.
It wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State just went and ran out the clock here.
They would bust one, I would bet.
Got it down to like 3 minutes for kicking a field goal.
Yeah, I could see that. 6-minute drive.
Yeah.
Well, Howard, gotta see him.
Yep. And there'll be a lot of aggravating runs like that. Even if it's second and long, grinding it out.
It's just about way too early top 25 season. Back in the day, McMurphy would just release his right during the game.
Yeah, I like that Andy and Ari were trying to beat him to the punch today, but it doesn't feel right looking at a way too early top 25 until now.
It also hits different with the portal because we still don't know what most people's rosters is fully going to be. So now you get to do like 3 too early top 25s. Milk the content, baby.
Oh man, you really do gotta milk it out. So what have you thought about this little watch along experience, Mr. Luckett?
I've liked it. I've enjoyed it. I just get to talk during it. Usually I'm doing this same thing. I just want to share it with the people.
There's usually another game on though, and you got action on that game too.
We could do the once I get my basement finished, we can do a college football bye Saturday. Just it'd be like one of those Barstool watch-alongs. Get yourself a chair, just there eating pizza.
What's really going to be when they unleash us on one of these for the basketball, and you start getting some in-game basketball takes.
Peak, were you pacing on camera?
He had to be.
Walking back and forth in your office?
Yeah. Basketball, I've done a better job, but there's usually like 1 or 2 things, and I just snap. And it's usually a terrible call compounded by like a bad rebounding effort or something, and it just makes me a demented human.
Missed throw, 4th down. He was wide open.
I almost lost my mind in the Alabama game even. And the officiating, it wasn't that bad, but there was just like a couple calls that just like the momentum was there. Like the fans were getting into it, and then there would just be, Nelson fell down, so there must have been a foul. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's just a road game. They get like that sometimes.
Well, that was at home, but yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Now I thought you were talking about Georgia. Yeah.
I know we get some calls in Rupp. I'm not saying we don't. We do. But I need more of those like calls where you look at we got away with one there.
You want that Kansas whistle, Peak. That's what you want.
I do.
That Assembly Hall whistle.
Yeah.
Well, and this right here, though, is exactly why you go for it, because you got to stop 3 minutes on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ohio State wasted. They milked 3 minutes there.
Because even if you didn't get the 2-point conversion, it had you have scored 31-21. Now you come down and if you have to kick it, maybe you kick an early field goal. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I forgot about the other 2-point conversion. So you would need to hit 3 in a row.
Yeah,
that's not easy to do.
You probably shouldn't have got down 31-7 though. That not a bad suggestion either. Andrew asked, what positions is UK going to lose some guys after spring ball?
I would look at DB. They were actively recruiting DBs, and I don't think that's going to change in the spring. So I would look there.
Wondering with the numbers at linebackers.
O-line. They'll still lose a couple more off the O-line, I would bet.
Probably guys who you're like, oh, forgot about him.
Yeah, and also like, oh, I might not even be on the twos, maybe.
Yeah, those guys.
D line, they've got like 16 D line players. I can see them
Mm.
losing a guy or two there.
Man, doing a Taco Bell commercial at 10:30 is right at the
That's
ideal time to hit that demographic.
oh yeah, people are like, oh, that looks good.
Had a couple beers. Oh,
Yeah, your buddy's house. I'm gonna stop talking about it on the way home.
that's it's one thing I hadn't thought about too. I bet the door dashes in these college towns when get a little overserved, and now just all these places will deliver right to you. Gotta be nice.
Yeah.
Must be real nice. Oh man. Yeah, I'm starting to run out of a little bit of gas here, Mr. Luckett. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you making me watch these Modelo ads. Different though.
Yeah, you're getting the Connor Stallions vibes now.
Yeah. Ryan Day getting the people pumped up.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can get the Notre Dame as likable storyline out of the way, though. That was a little much. I think every outlet wrote a Notre Dame is likable column. Some multiple. I'm just like, are we just gonna ignore the jerseys? Like, what are we doing here?
Pretty memorable dome.
Like,
It doesn't change.
this is college football. The helmet logos matter the most of anything. Whatever logo you're wearing, it's kind of pretty important. And goodness gracious.
It is a little bit of a annoying way to end it, though. But
Yeah.
that's like every playoff game, though, where the script kind of flips late.
If I was gonna bet how this drive would end, I would bet interception.
And when he started turning and looking down the middle,
It just feels like that's how it's gonna end.
yeah.
They'll drive down a little bit, and Ohio State will get it with like under 2 or something.
They're moving quick, though. Moving fast. Leonard just looks like a small. I feel like that's every Notre Dame quarterback over the last 15 years. Pretty good quarterback with some moxie, but just undersized.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Leonard's a little bit bigger, but
He's the best, I would say. One of the better runners they've had at quarterback. No, they had Everett Golson. I think he was when they made the title game.
that's a nice move.
There you go, down to the 30. Pretty quick. That is tough though for Notre Dame. Like they get to these stages and it's just been
Annihilation.
this has been respectable.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has probably been the most respectable of the 3 big blowout losses they've had.
There you
Zach.
go. Yep. You knew that was that had to happen at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna get another. Nice. Tuimala's limping a little bit. Is it Jack Sawyer strip sack time?
Yeah.
It's a good pass set there by Wagner. It's actually Leonard kind of walked into that one.
Yeah.
He had a clean pocket.
Need that guy sand.
So overall thoughts, playoff. First extended.
Good. Really liked the way that the semifinal linked up with Wild Card Weekend.
I enjoyed that too. Like
Yeah.
the lead in. That was made that weekend pretty fun.
But it did feel like, especially I'm none of my brothers. We just popped the ESPN. It did feel like the NFL swallowed up a lot of anticipation or build up for this game. And maybe that's a byproduct of having it on the Monday. And I don't know. I feel like the championship game didn't get the billing, the hype that the rest of it has gotten. But
My
all
big
in
issue
all,
is it's too stretched out. The
yeah,
tournament.
it's a little
Tournament's
bit
just too stretched out.
because
Well, instead of
the Notre
because how
Dame
it go ahead.
Indiana game was what, December 21st, like that weekend, right?
December 21st.
Yeah, it was a month long to play.
Yeah. NBA playoffs like it's just like, God, can we just get this
Right.
done with already? In like any football tournament, it's week by week. This is like play, take 12 days off,
Mm-hmm.
take 12 days off, play, take 12 days off. So but I enjoyed the high stakes football, and I liked like where they came in the calendar. I really did. Like you got those first playoff games on the 21st,
Yeah,
New Year's Day,
yeah.
New Year's Eve, and then New Year's Day. I really enjoyed that. The quarterfinals, and then the semifinals were fun. And then I just think there's got to be a better way where we can squeeze them down and make them happen closer together.
The thing that I like too about this most of all is I felt like it got us some fun matchups. And a lot of the teams that we would have been trying to argue and take our way into being better, it would have created some boring matchups in like the 14 playoff era, right? I mean,
It's just it made the season better because teams were alive for longer, and then like it also like you got some stuff confirmed, like thought the ACC stunk, right? The two teams get in and they get, Clemson was respectable, but the other one gets blown out. But you also saw like, it's football and some stuff can happen. Like Arizona State probably should have beat Texas. You got to see Indiana. Like that was a cool moment, I bet, for Indiana. Like you got to play Notre Dame in a playoff game in Notre Dame,
mm-hmm.
even though the game was tough. Watch, but you still got to play in something like that. And also like for Ohio State, they got a chance to go on like a little revenge tour.
Oh, I thought that was it. I thought we were getting Jack Sawyer just skying high. Yeah. That's one thing I always wanted to do. I thought that would be the most like emasculating feeling ever, is to pick off a screen pass like that. Mm-hmm. And I've knocked a few down, had one like go through my hands, never could finish that.
And also the Tennessee Ohio State build up and then how the game played out. Great house, touchdown.
Oh wow.
I really enjoyed that. From how like all this pressure was on Ohio State, Tennessee fans were trying to do this takeover and we're getting real cocky about it. And Ohio State fans were not cocky at all. We're kind of like, it almost felt like Ohio State fans were a little bit dreading like going into this tournament. And then like the opposite, like what both sides thought would happen, the opposite kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed kind of watching that play out. That was very college football. That just like expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a lot of time left too. Man, that Great House has had a run here.
Man, if only they didn't doink a field goal, it'd be a 7-point game. Hell, you cut it to 6.
Now, if Ryan Day lost this one, that would generate some takes. Under center, condensed. Oh no, was it pass?
Oh,
wide open!
Wow!
Oh, here we go. We got a game.
Wow!
Imagine if he would have made that field goal.
I mean, yeah. The fact that it was a pass, like I thought. Sorry,
Lou Holtz is feeling himself with that Diet Coke.
We could be watching an all-time comeback. This could be history.
Wow!
This is getting interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a great throw by Leonard, man. Great throw, great catch. That
Well,
touchdown.
and that's what a lot of this has come down to is Riley Leonard's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, Ohio State's gotten a little soft, so it's been easier for them to pass. But yeah, they've made some plays in the throw game. Notre Dame has, and you got to score from far against Ohio State. You get down in that red zone, man. It's just tough against that defense.
Leonard's 20-29. And these last and this other part, they weren't just going 3 and out. The way that the pace that they were moving early on, where it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 4 and out. And then they're going 10 and 12 plays in 4 minutes. Like, I just didn't know that they could still go that fast.
They showed onside and then squibbed it. Henderson's got the ball now, going nowhere. All right, here we go. 4-minute offense time for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
The way they can run the ball, Notre Dame's run defense, early downs is what could win this.
They've got
Adam Luckett wants Chip Kelly to give the ball to Travion Henderson.
They need to get it to Jeremiah Smith at one of these on like a quick, easy screen now. Like that.
Yeah, just gobble up some yards of first down.
Right. Well, that is a onesie. Certainly a look. But yeah, I think you do need to have some unpredictable easy yard getter.
Got Junkins in again. About 4 there.
3 or 4. Notre Dame has all 3 of its timeouts too.
Yeah, I mean, odds are they'll probably get the ball back here with a chance to go tight. What was it, 31-7?
Yeah.
They scored 31 unanswered, yeah. There's a passing formation here. Oh, QB run.
Oh, he's going to get it?
It's one. Gonna need about 3 more of those.
So those Will Howard legs are going to come in handy. Just get you a couple more of them. This is where they have to, we had all that talk about, they would try to beat Michigan playing their way. Well, here's your way. Go.
Go right, yeah, go right off the clock.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, you're going to overtime here, but what you want to do really is just to make them burn those timeouts and milk as much clock as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Give them like a minute or so to work with no timeouts. You would like to win the game, obviously, but the top goal is to churn out like 3-4 first downs here. This is what, like when Kentucky had Benny Snell, they were so good at. Was not scoring in situations like this, but they could churn 3 minutes off the clock and make you burn timeouts. That was honestly, I thought, Snell's biggest strength, and that offense's biggest strength was kind of the 4-minute offense.
Tick, 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 tick.
He's got no tailback back there. He's got a tight end offset here at tailback. Yeah, they got no running backs in here. This is like a... I don't even know what to call this personnel. It's like 0-3 personnel. You got 3 tight ends. Got a little too cute there, Chip.
Yeah, just run the damn ball.
Put one of your NFL backs in. What are we doing here?
I mean,
that was funky. Not gonna lie. All right, Freeman burns one here. Interesting.
This next play big.
Yeah, this is kind of if you think you could get something, Nick, on something quick in the past game, this is probably the time to do it. Throw it out there to Smith, see what he can get. Because If you run it here, Notre Dame's selling out, stop the run, you might get in like a 3rd and 8 situation.
And then they can really tee off.
Yeah, and then if then they could get the ball back with the warning and the one time out left if you throw an incomplete pass. So interesting decision, I think, here for Ohio State on 2nd and long.
You know what? I think they should hand the ball off to a tight end.
That was a little odd play call.
Notre Dame walking a bunch up in the box. Can't get lined up on the line.
Another Q run.
Hey, what are you doing with your QB runs? You use that for 3rd down, Chip. I mean, zero.
See, that's why I think you. That's why I think if you can get a high completion throw, I think you should throw it there. Look, like with Curry Freezers, they are selling out to stop the run.
Yeah,
throw it out to the perimeter and see what you can get.
Maybe you think like, all right, we'll get an extra hat by just doing the quarterback run, but like there aren't enough. And I mean, how many incompletions does Howard have?
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a screen here.
4 incompletion passes the whole day.
Pressure team, blitz team. They're probably going to – I don't think they're going to sit back here. I think they're going to come after Ohio State. Might be time to hit them with a screen.
Will Howard only has 2 more passing attempts than rushing attempts. Excuse me, 2 more completions than rushing attempts. Doesn't feel like a good formula.
Well, kind of put the game in Howard's hands here, and I don't know if I would have necessarily done that at this juncture.
They're coming.
Back pass. He's going deep.
He's
got it. Guess who?
Just throw it up to number 4.
Okay. Guess who?
Number 4, saving the day. That'll do it.
Is that a double move? Let's see this. Or did he just cook him?
Look how far off the line of scrimmage he was beforehand, too.
Yeah, that's too much cushion for a guy like that running.
He was lined
vertical.
up like 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. So Smith just got.
You just have no chance on a vertical if you're giving somebody that good that much cushion.
I love the Will Howard. Just like, who else was I going to throw it to? Just throw it up to Will Howard.
Yeah, that was easy. That was easy read for Howard. When in doubt, throw it up to that guy.
Oh, that was great. It was great from the chat. It could have been.
God, you could have felt the tightness though if Notre Dame got that ball back down 8.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Ohio State has $150 more yards than Notre Dame. Really a nice chunk of that pass, but still.
It's only their 8th possession of the game.
7.6 yards per play still.
Nine of 11 on 3rd down, Ohio State is.
Ryan Russillo just said, really happy for old Braun. What were some of Jeremiah Smith's finalists besides Ohio State? Wasn't Miami?
Florida made a real run at him.
He's a Florida kid, right?
Yeah, he's from South Florida. Like, he did a visit there, and there was a lot of people thinking he was going to flip. I think
God,
Lagway was I think him and Lagway maybe hit it off at something.
imagine DJ Lagway throwing to that guy.
I don't want to imagine that.
I mean, my God, that would have
Save
been
that for the NFL.
been a damn nightmare. Yeah, that guy's going to be a problem
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah, he's he's ready right now.
Man, this TV timeout feels like it's taken 20 minutes. It's like
When I think Mercedes-Benz, I think SUVs. Jeeps. Cheap-looking vehicle. When I want a Mercedes, I'm going to buy the thing that looks like a Jeep. Bradley Cooper.
just plugging it in while it's parked on a cliff.
People forget that Scott Van Pelt is 6'10". One of the best things we've done though, Nick, is those clocks.
Yeah, that was a very
That's a
big
game changer.
addition, but it is huge.
I've been even at the games. Yep, even at the games, it helps. Like,
Oh yeah,
got 3 minutes here. I can go
you can run to
concession stand right quick or to the restroom.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that the spread closed at 8.5. That
Unbelievable.
might have been a big false start for that too.
That's just like Texas Chiefs. Like I think it got up to 9.5 at some places.
Mhm.
That safety. It's unbelievable. Sometimes.
How good are they? But now you got first and go from the 15. The key is though is Notre Dame. They can only stop it once, so I guess their play clock isn't long enough to where you can't just kneel it out.
I think there's an argument to be made. You should let them score.
Mm-hmm.
Saves you time, timeout. You can try to go score and get the onside. I mean, it's not great odds, but
Yeah, but I mean, they're cooked. It's an 8-point game right now. But will Ohio State kick a field goal, or will they try doing what Kenny Dillingham did, where they just ran around and tried to run the clock out? That was some nonsense. I forgot what game that was. Sleepy?
yeah, that was BYU when they played BYU at home in November. Pretty sure. Here we go. Here, see what they do.
Just throw it up to 4 again.
Release Corlett, ready for the celebration. Need Henderson to pop a run.
He'll slide down when you need like 2 more yards.
Running QB sneaks.
Dude, he took a pretty gnarly hit there. Get concussed in the final 100 seconds.
That's where they settling for a field goal here.
Guess so.
Turning it over to the kicker here is a decision.
Oh, when have you ever seen a kicker miss a 27-yard field goal?
I mean,
they're still in the huddle.
yeah, I mean they're milking. He's gonna Day's burning a timeout here, pretty sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it on what hash he likes, would be my guess, and kick the field goal. Because Notre Dame can't stop it, right? All right. So you run this next play, you're gonna get it down to like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So even if you miss the field goal, they're only gonna have
Hell,
25 to
missing the
30
field goal,
seconds to work with.
making them go 90 yards. and then getting a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
As long as you don't mess up and get it blocked.
Right. Which, of all of the silly and probable endings, the Michigan State one against Michigan is right up there.
Yeah, it's just the one thing you could, like, just fall on it.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that was the worst thing you could have done. Well, they're not in the kneel. They're not in the
No.
sneak formation again.
Oh, I thought they were in the snap it to the motion guy formation and it
Lost
bounced off
yards.
his leg.
Should be 28 seconds. The play clock expiration.
You see Molly practicing her lines behind Ryan Day. It's going to be tough to try to remember, you know. You got to memorize all your stuff down there,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's true.
you know. In the pros trophy presentation. And here's from Capital One, or I guess we're AT&T for this one. Oh, that's some. I don't like the finger guns pointing from my kicker to the sky before the kick.
Nothing was more interesting than the Sark Texas kicker exchange. And then he misses that and they bench him for the next game.
Man, is anybody going to have more fun tonight than Jack Sawyer? That guy definitely gets a little aggressive when he's deleting beers. He's like the one friend that you kind of like to have around, but you also like kind of worry about, like, all right, what kind of trouble is he getting into us into tonight?
Hey, dude, just relax.
Yeah.
Some beat ups. Here we go. From 33. From the right hash. He's got to get this over. This is not a great angle.
I know. The other kicker missed it from this hash, too.
He got
Slid
it.
right in. That'll do it.
I cannot believe Ohio State won a national championship in football. It is unbelievable. How did they pull this off, this band of underdogs?
They got home. I know there's a lot of -8.5s. Never a doubt.
Yeah, that was an important kick for a lot of people.
Never a doubt. Well, this has been fun, but it's past my bedtime.
Yeah, we're signing off. I enjoyed it. We'll have to do it again. But
Yeah.
I think this is the longest podcast in 11 Personnel podcast history here.
You guys went
We're
3
good
hours,
for the next
23
month.
minutes. Long show.
All right, it's been fun, y'all.
Good night, you guys.